They hear me?
All right, we good?
Yeah.
All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to D&D&D&D&D campaign number 1, Under Locks and Keys. Different than our usual day this week due to some scheduling complications, but we are here, and by God, the party's going to get their hands on that pistol.
Oh.
Amen.
When we last left off, after successfully bailing Avaben and Greylog out of the Dark Elf Ostiliant prison of the Claw, the party retreated to the Duchess's Manor, where they are hiding out, taking advantage of the local Ostiliant law that old aristocratic homes cannot be tampered with or harmed in any way. While hiding out there, they interrogated their prisoners in the form of Pepa Estili, Avaben's mother, and Igor Konkaro, the Boomerganger lieutenant, who Paul and Flower and Fall had met months ago and thought they had killed. Pepa Estili revealed that the Dark Elves, from the beginning, had no intention, or at least she didn't, of parting with the Forgecast Pistol. But with this humiliating defeat and the seeming return of her birth son, who she had abandoned in hopes of furthering her political prestige and place, her reputation is in the gutter, both among the socialites that she has been craving the affection of and the religious priests and nobility who she has committed heresy against by defying the will of Arachne and having Arachne deny her aid. Igor Konkaro, however, was much more peaceful and amicable. Apparently, the cybernetic augmentations he's been getting from the Boomerganger's leader have been having an adverse effect on his mind as his body strains and struggles just to cope with the presence of this amount of augmentation, the damage it's doing to his body and the strain it's putting on it to keep them functioning. He willingly parted with what information he could, revealing that the Boomergangers knew all along where the location of these items were, or at least did for a time, back when they still had the allegiance of the assassin Blue Moon. And as a result, they were more working with the Dark Elves out of respect for them than out of necessity. And Avaben's uncle arrived at the manor after the prisoners fled to reveal that, indeed, the bees without hives are beginning their pursuit of the treasure, but they have done the party one last favor as thanks for bailing their allies out of prison by revealing that the Boomergangers are already at the location of the pistol and have set a trap for the party on their arrival. The party, however, has no intention of simply waiting or trying to sneak past it. They are going to confront this foe head on, or at least as head on as they ever do anything. With that, as Paul, Avaben, Flower and Fall, Greylog, and Asari gather their gear, some new, some old, and set out into the city, the prisoners are retreating to be under the protection of the bees without hives until the party completes this confrontation. With that, as you guys set out into the aristocratic plateau that overlooks Ostiliant, what would you guys like to do?
So, based off of the priestess's telling me where the location roughly was, can I see anything in that direction?
Make a perception check.
Natural 20. That's 26.
Good start. Looking towards the east of the city, as she had mentioned, that the tunnel that leads out into the part of the surrounding tunnel network where the pistol is being stored by the Dark Elves, you can see that there is still some chaos and a few fires in that part of the city. The prison break and the troll you released, likely, if not still causing chaos, have certainly left chaos in its wake. While the fires themselves have mostly been put out, the general chaos remains in place. And with that said, attention, there is likely a lot, or rather, you can see that there is quite a bit of activity, but you imagine that what activity there is, they will likely be somewhat distracted.
So my idea to the rest of you guys is we get as close as we can, and then I can cast a spell on all of us to help us get past their little trap if we can. That, or at least allow us to see how many of them are.
That's actually a good idea.
What do you think, Ivan and Paul?
Worth a shot.
Well, they're not actually here, so
I mean, you can still, yeah. I just control them from a roleplay perspective. They're still like present.
Sorry, I didn't think about that. Yeah, I can definitely get a steer. So let's head that way. And when we get closer, I will do my magic.
Do your magic thing.
Okay.
So he will start walking.
Okay. Noted. Is there anything you guys want to do while you're heading that way? Okay. And are you guys trying to be stealthy about this or just going out in the open?
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely should go some stuff.
Okay. In that case,
you say that, but Paul can't stealth.
Well, he can. It's just hard.
He is very bad at stealth.
Yeah, but even someone who's terrible at it can still pull it off. Everyone, please roll me stealth checks if you would like to try and be stealthy about this.
Ooh.
I got a 14.
Okay.
Not
I got
great.
a 19.
I got an 18.
Well, it only lasts for hours. He's saving only closer.
Okay. 4 from you, 14, 19. Sorry, what'd you get?
18.
Okay. Just a hot second.
Are y'all sure y'all haven't taken a file to your dice to change the way it rolls?
No, that's bad luck. Why would I do that?
And we
The whole point is that you change the weight of the dice that lands on one of its sides more often.
Nah.
So like people will file down like a dice.
I rolled 2 11 and 1 16.
No, that's 3 11s.
3 11. So it's just the luck of the dice.
What were you gonna ask?
You're really
You're a bit
muffled.
muffled.
Yeah, we can hear what you're saying. It's just that it's muffled.
Is this better?
Much better. Yes.
Much, like,
Okay, 14.
exponentially.
Okay. And what'd you get for stealth? Sorry. 19, right?
18.
No, she
Okay,
had
18.
18. I had it at 19.
Okay. You guys quietly make your way through Ostiliant. You pass through the upper class district and shops. You pass through the middle ground bazaars and areas. And finally, you make it to the slums, where there are guards everywhere. It appears that word has spread about the recent prison break, and they are on the lookout. However, for the moment, you do not appear to have been seen. As you guys stick to the alleyways and the shadows, silently making your way towards the eastern edge of the cavern, what would you guys like to do?
Okay,
You can
when we
see.
get about 30 minutes to that area, I would like to cast Pass Without a Trace.
Okay. Greylog, you cast Pass Without a Trace once you guys arrive. So you want to do this 30 minutes from the slums or 30 minutes like from the eastern wall?
From the eastern wall.
Okay. Greylog, as your party is creeping closer to the eastern edge of the cavern, you cast Pass Without a Trace. All of you, your footsteps get muffled. Paul, the sound of you and Flower and Fall's armor clanking dims, and you all continue to creep along. Now, all that was mentioned is that it was a tunnel on the eastern end near the rift of the claw. Is there anything you guys would like to do?
The most guarded. Like, anything that's, like, the most guarded. That would be the best.
Well, first, Greylog wants to look and see if he sees any of the boomergangers around the area.
Make a perception check.
Can I as well to see if there's a specific way that that is more guarded?
Sure, make a perception check.
Can I have
And
Avaden
that's
help look
19.
for boomergangers?
Greylog, make yours with advantage.
Ooh. Okay, that is 25.
25, okay.
What were the rolls?
And what was the first out of curiosity?
19 and 25.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay, thank you.
So my perception was a 14.
All right. Greylog,
As
Avaden.
far as you know, Austin.
Greylog, Avaben. The two of you scan the area as the party ducks into an alleyway to stay out of the way of patrols, and you guys scan. And boomerganger presence had been not constant, but rather ubiquitous throughout your stay in Ostiliant. But as you look around now, their presence is completely nil. You don't see a single rifle-wielding cultist anywhere. Just the Dark Elf patrols.
Oh, this should be fun.
Asari, looking around, you do not see guards. You do see guards, obviously, but like you don't see any area that seems particularly guarded more than any other. They mostly seem to be gravitating around the prison, but that seems to be more the fact that there was a recent breakout than anything else.
Yeah, I wouldn't even factor. Just basically look, like, because you said that there was several pathways, right?
Yes. Tunnels in and out of Ostiliant. always kind of loop around, wrap around each other, double back, triple back, quadruple back.
I'm going to ask Avaven something. I'm going to turn around to Avaven. You're really good at things. Yes, I mean you've lived in the forest like your whole life.
I have no idea what you just said to me.
You're good at finding things down here because you lived here for your whole life, right?
I lived here for a very short period of my life.
Well, I mean the forest. I mean that you were in the forest for so long. So it's possible if you maybe see if there's like footprints around.
You're gonna have to put it in
Are you
text. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I can't
Like,
understand a word
loving-
you're saying.
She was asking if he could look for footprints, see if he could track where the Boomers may have gone,
Okay.
and see if he was any good at it.
I think he can do that, right, Matthew?
Absolutely, you can.
Okay,
Is
yeah, we'll
Underdark
try
one of
that.
your favorite terrains or no?
Let me see. I got my shit pulled up. What the fuck? Forest and Underdark.
All right, make me a survival check with advantage. And you will have advantage on this. Asari is helping you.
Also, I
And-
want to note, I read the wrong modifier whenever I rolled my stealth. I read my survival. I would have a 15 on stealth, actually.
Okay, that
My
wouldn't have changed the
stealth is plus
results
6.
super significantly.
Okay.
Thank you for the heads
So
up, though.
my survival is a plus 5. My stealth
Yeah,
is
and
a
you have
plus
advantage
6.
to this.
And Matthew, while
What's up?
he's doing that,
16.
I would like to take out the pendant that I took from his mother and concentrate on it and see if it gives off any clue on where we should go.
I
Make an-
see him pull it out. Can I help him?
You're already helping Avaben.
Like, okay. Well, I was gonna say because I read that book.
Well, I mean, normally yes, but you're already helping Avaben.
Oh no, that's fair.
All right, and Greylog, make me an Arcana check. And real quick, Avaben, what was both of your results? Just again, so I can flavor out like who does what.
All right. The first roll was a 16. The second roll was what was the second roll? I want to say it was a flat 5, so it'd be 11. Yeah.
Okay.
I think it was 16, and I know the first one was the 16. I think the second one was an 11.
Yeah, it's not a huge deal. It's not like mechanically important. It's just I just like to keep track of that so I can flavor who's doing what. Okay. Okay. And Greylog, your Arcana.
18.
Okay. And Paul, what are you
Sadly, I
doing?
had a -1. So are you gonna detect magic?
All right. Divine Sense. If I recall correctly, that tells you about any celestials, fiends, fae, or undead, and tells you if they're good or evil. Is that right? Okay. Noted. Paul, you put out your Divine Sense. Greylog, you break out the medallion and start concentrating on it to see if it gives you any signals. Avaben, you and Asari start looking for tracks. Paul, you do not get any signals from your ability. Your divine sense does not turn up anything helpful. Greylog, you concentrate on the medallion. If it is giving off any kind of energy, you can't tell. Given its complete lack of magical efficacy, you imagine, or rather, it's becoming more and more of a possibility to you that it's a completely unremarkable piece of jewelry. Avaben and Asari, however. Asari, while you know the principles involved, you're not a tracker at heart. So it mostly devolves into you just watching Avaben's back while Avaben scans the surroundings. And Avaben, it doesn't take you long. You notice footsteps beginning to drift off of the roads and congregate in the valley that leads down into the Claw's pit. Sorry, you start collecting some
I'm sorry, what was that? I'm sorry,
rocks.
I didn't hear it.
You see that some footsteps go off of the roads and paths and start congregating to the slope that leads down into the Claw, like the pit that they would drop prisoners into if they tried to escape. The very self-same pit where you threw those spiders to their death.
So would it seem like a logical conclusion that that's where they went, or does it seem like that would logically be something else?
Well, basically, you're looking specifically for the Boomerganger's tracks, and because of your
Can I roll something to make a conclusion of what that most likely means?
I'll give it to you for free. Given what you've heard about the Claw, and of course your natural explorer ability, as I was about to mention, giving you some benefits here, you see that these footprints passed through this area just yesterday, and some of them are even more recent than that. Given the context, and you know that the Dark Elves, as seldom as possible, go down into that pit, as it is considered essentially suicide, as the spiders and other creatures and beasts that inhabit that pit would devour anyone that found themselves down there, whether through falling or through traveling. Given that you see a large group making their way down there, and given that it is considered one of the most unexplorable parts of Ostiliant, you can easily make the conclusion that either the Dark Elves are going to get the pistol because they know that it's been compromised, or the Boomergangers are going down there to get it themselves. Either way, you can draw that easily enough. And I will say, because it says that you also learn the exact number and size, you know that everyone that passed through here is medium. You don't see any carts or heavyweights. Although, I will say you do see evidence of a small cart. Like, not like a huge, like, caravan one, but like one of those, almost like a little mine cart being dragged along with this group. And the group itself seems to number, but judging by the footprints and number of them, you count that, as far as the ones you can track, there seems to be about, you'd guesstimate about 10 or so people.
Does that cart seem to be about the same size as the one that carried the Gatling gun?
No, that one was much larger. This one seems much smaller. Like I said, more like a mine cart than like a big caravan.
All right, so Vaven's going to tell the party.
All right.
Okay, it seems most likely that the way we want to go is that way, pointing towards the direction you indicated.
Yeah. So
when he says that, I actually remember his mother telling me that it was down there in that valley.
Mm-hmm.
And that it would look like a dead end.
Yeah, but there would be a slot to insert a priestess's medallion that would allow you entry.
Exactly. And when he points out the cart, does it look like it might be like the sort of size to hold full arm dude.
I just had an interesting thought, Matthew,
What's
and I
that?
might need to make a roll for this. It occurs to Asari that they're gonna have to use the medallion that once belonged to Peppa. But seeing as her diminishing place and the absence of Arachne, could I assume that the amulet would still work?
You don't really have a way of knowing, because you don't even know if the nature of this key is just technological, like it's just the shape of it that works, or if it's like a magical thing. You don't know. And for that matter, even if it was magical, you have no way of knowing if her losing Arachne's blessing would also affect the medallion, or if you could just pass the medallion to another priestess and it would work fine.
Because I do
Wasn't
distinctly
Avaven also
remember
given
her-
a medallion?
Yes, your uncle gave you one, which Greylog, I believe, passed on to you. Like, you were there, but like he basically let you have that one just in case. So you guys technically have two of these things.
the I forgot. Sorry.
But yeah, so you don't know. All right then.
I was fishing for a religion roll, Matthew.
I mean, well, to be fair,
Yeah,
this
but
this
you
wouldn't
don't know,
be.
You don't know.
Yeah, and to be fair, this wouldn't be like a religious thing. It's just a practicality of this city, whether this key works here or not. Sorry.
No, that's fair.
That being said, as you guys regroup, Paul, Greylog, as Avaben and Asari return, Asari with a bunch of cool Underdark rocks in tow.
I just put them in my pocket. I'm just like, I'll show Greylug a couple of them. Like, look at this one.
And Paul and
I
Greylog,
dropped
for your benefit, Avaben points out that you guys will need to descend into the pit, which Greylog, you would remember that in the prison was referred to as Wolimva, the Hollow of Vermin.
Matthew, I'm gonna make it an item. I'm just gonna say Underdark Rock.
Okay.
Gonna be in my bag of holding. I'm just gonna put a bunch of rocks in there. Just like grab a bunch and just put them in my bag of holding.
All right. Yes, just chuck rocks. All right.
But why would I
Technically, yeah.
do that? My fucking book in there.
All right, so
I guess I could take the book out.
and
Sorry,
Greylog,
Matthew.
were you guys going to ask me Greylog? Were you going to ask me a question about the cart? It sounded like, or are you good?
Yeah, it like I was trying to figure out if it's like if it would roughly be the right size to hold a tentacle dude.
It certainly could hold a person from what Avaben observed, but not much more than that. I'd say at most it looks like it could hold two people. It's not a particularly big cart.
Interesting.
That being said, do you guys descend into Wolimva?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's go. How do I add the rock, Matthew?
I'll take
I'll,
I'll take care of it later. Don't worry. You'll get your rock.
Hey.
Avaben, you lead your party to the dip of the valley and begin to help them descend. This is a route that few dark elves have taken and lived to tell the tale. From your brief time here, Avaben, you know that children like to play at the edge of the pit and will occasionally fall in. And only then will the guards launch rescue attempts. Few return, and even fewer successfully. You've never seen what it's like down here. You've never even heard accounts of it. All you know is that This pit supposedly once connected to an underling church that simply allowed dark vermin to breed in the Underdark and then spread throughout its tunnels, eventually reaching Wallenva in Osteliant. You know that priestesses, I will say Asari, you've actually read about this. Asari, as you watch the protective plateaus of the valley rise around you and place you in even deeper darkness, shielded from the bejeweled cavern walls of Osteliant. You recall the stories you read in the Bible of the Dark Elves, how priestesses will make love to their male lovers over the edge of the pit, tempting the spiders that live along its walls to come up and feed on them. And supposedly, the men that survive this are seen as accepted by Arachne and thus acceptable for the priestesses to have as mates.
Oh, wow.
Greylog.
is not taking this chance.
She's actually kind of like spewing this information to Greylog, and she's just like, wouldn't that be really fun to do? Just having
No.
like a personal fuck you? Yeah, it would be great.
Greylog, you recall when you were being taken to the Claw, seeing Underdark children playing at the edge, playing a game of seeing how long they could levitate themselves magically over the pit before forcing their way back. Basically a game of chicken, where the consequence of failure is almost certain death. Paul, with Flower and Fall on your shoulders, you watch as the final bits of bejeweled light begin to fade, as you are plunged into darkness only broken by the distant jewels of the cavern above, as you guys start making your way into Wallenva. Avaben, you keep the party going straight, following the path. However, at this point, you guys are in complete and total darkness.
Oh shit! I'm gonna cast hang on.
Do I see any lights
I don't-
up ahead?
So I have
Make a
dark
perception check.
vision, so I'm gonna cast dark vision on myself.
Okay.
30-20.
Asari, once the last of the cavern wall lights are beginning to fade, you cast dark vision on yourself. Greylog, you squint and try to make out if there's any lights. And indeed, you can actually make out what appear to be the lights of candles about midway, and you recall seeing these from up top, too. However, beyond that, you don't see any other lights. Paul, as I recall, you do not have dark vision, do you?
Nope. Paul is gonna, I don't know, struggle.
Well,
And-
neither do I, really.
So, Greylog, Paul, the two of you are going min blind. The only light you have is the candle light up ahead and the glistening gems of the Osteliant cavern ceiling above you, which feels so out of reach and distant now. Avaben, you and Asari, after casting their spell, can see, although a part of you wishes you couldn't. As the dip starts to flatten out into the proper flat bottom of the valley, or at least as flat as it can be, you can see bodies. However, you're only seeing what's left of them. Skeletal remains of things that were feasted upon. And Avaben, as someone who lived here as long as you did, what disturbs you isn't how many bodies there are. What disturbs you is how few there are. For everyone that's come into this pit and not returned, there are far fewer skeletons than you would expect. And you can only imagine that someone or something took them away, feasting even on the bones.
Are there any fresh bodies?
Make a perception check.
Greylock is trying to decide if she should make it light or not.
And it's dark, so I don't have disadvantage, right?
Indeed, you are not in sunlight. By some people's standards, you are as far from sunlight as it's possible to be.
Yeah.
7. Yeah. What you gonna do about that roll, DM?
Avaben, looking around, you don't see any bodies that look particularly fresh. However, at this point, you guys are about approaching the pit beneath the claw. And you can see tunnels dug into the walls. And Avaben, you do see the corpses of the spiders that had fallen. However, they are completely stripped, drained of everything. As they do not have a traditional skeleton, they aren't stripped to the bone, but you can see that they're gutted and have had everything drained out of them, as if something had bled them dry, eaten out their entire inside, and just left the carapace there to rot.
Does
I'm sorry,
carapace
Trish, not
rot?
Not particularly,
They
but
don't rot. They
similar to
dry out and then crumble to dust.
yeah, basically similar to skeletons, they will, but over a very long period of time. But that being said, Paul, you hear a kind of sound behind you as if a heavy thing just fell. But again, it's pitch black. You can't see. Greylog, you hear this kind of sound above
Oh
you.
no.
Asari with your dark...
When I hear it, I'm going to cast Produce Flame and just like get my hand, so I have a light source and I can see around it.
All right. Avaben, Asari, as you hear this sound, you hear Greylog say the incantation for his flame, and as you turn to look at him, you see that massive insects are silently bearing down on the two who are blind. Paul is being slowly and curiously approached by locusts the size of humans. And Greylog,
Oh my God.
a spider easily the size of a car, is hovering over him, dangling by its thread. However, as soon as Greylog lights his flame, the spider immediately hisses and starts retracting upward, and the locusts all jump away from Paul. Paul, you're surrounded by this sudden blast of deafening noise. And Avaben and Asari, as the two of you with your dark vision look around to actually take your surroundings in, you can see that these massive things are everywhere, just watching you. You see massive ants the size of horses digging their way out of the ground. You can see spiders the size of cars crawling out of tunnels and curiously dangling themselves down towards you. Again, locusts the size of dogs or humans bouncing their way around as they curiously start swarming the area around you. They seem unperturbed by your presence, and Avaben, you can't imagine they're completely unfamiliar with the idea that you can see them. They do seem smart enough to at least try to pick off those who can't, but they don't seem afraid of you like you would hope. What do you guys do?
So I'm
Would
going to cast.
would Avaben know like if that fire would be a good way of keeping them back?
Make a history check, but I'll give you advantage.
Yeah, I'll wait for him to do that, but
Okay.
then I have an idea.
All right, so we'll see how his turns out, and then... All right. Avaben, you're not sure. You did see the spider and locust shrink away from it, but you also know that fire tends to be very visible. So I'll say you can at least make the conclusion that the fire would likely keep them away, but also would likely give away your position.
Is there something I can roll to figure out if it's a good idea or not?
Unfortunately, no. That one you have to decide on yourself.
So
Because I don't know.
Point, I would like to cast Speak with Animals.
Okay.
I guess technically they are animals.
They're absolutely animals, yeah.
Beast.
Greylog, you cast Speak with Animals on yourself.
So what do I hear when when it kicks in? Like, what are the animals saying?
Hungry, fat and juicy. Eat, feast.
Greylog will then speak out loudly towards them, saying, "If y'all are hungry, we aren't the best ones to eat. But if you come with us, we can give you some good fresh meat and plenty of it."
Eat now.
But we do not taste good.
Make a deception check.
Told you that I love you.
Do animals even like care about taste?
Not particularly, but given that they
Yeah,
also normally
that's why I'm
can't
like,
talk, I'm going to make some allowances.
22.
If not eat now, eat what?
They're called boomer gators. They probably went through about roughly a few hours ago, maybe.
Nasty meats. Fire, bright lights.
How about this? If we kill them for you, then we will leave them in the dark for you to eat if you leave us alone.
Make a persuasion check.
Ooh. Jeremy, I love this side of you.
Another 19.
Yeah, he's playing a
That's
character that has at least half a
22.
brain.
Another 22.
I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud.
The creatures,
I can play smart characters.
the creatures kind of contemplate for a bit before finally one of the spiders, you recognize it as the one who had been hovering above you, doesn't come into the light, but you can just make out its twitching mandibles just hovering outside of your fire's range. Past the hollow. If you die, then we eat.
Fair.
Yeah.
They eat
And
meat.
great.
I mean, it's a win-win for them, you know.
Yeah.
If we succeed, they eat the people we killed. If we fail, they eat us, our corpses.
And if,
But
even if,
and you know what? At that point, we don't care anymore because we're dead.
yeah, even if we succeed, they just get more food if they attack us. You know, even more.
But Greylog will agree to his terms and will then say, "I'm going to put out the lights. You can follow, but do not hurt us."
Feast, feast. And Asari and Avaven, you can't understand what Greylog's saying to them, but you can see them pause in their swarm before finally starting to back away. However, they don't retreat into their hollows. Instead, they start to kind of orbit about 30 feet behind you guys. The locust hopping along, the ants digging along through the ground, spiders climbing along the walls, and
Do
Greylog,
locusts
you note
eat
with a
meat?
shudder.
Yeah.
I'm not sure honestly, but again, even if they normally don't, these ones do.
Can they hear me?
No, I was more just finishing my thought before addressing it. But apparently, yes. But even if they didn't, these ones would. If apparently, if not.
You can hear me. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. I was just explaining why I wasn't addressing it immediately. And those of you who can see in the dark note with a shudder that you can even see a massive scorpion, easily the size of like a semi-truck, peering out of one of the dug tunnels. Just chilling there.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna go over to Greylog and just put my hand on his shoulder. What did you do?
Well, I made a deal with them. They're going to follow us. but they will not hurt us, and they will eat whoever dies, whether it be us or the Boomer Gamers. But they will not hurt us.
That's fair. You thought that
Yeah, if we're dead, I don't really
all
care
by
anymore.
yourself?
Yeah.
I'm gonna take him by the face and I'm just gonna slay it on him.
All right.
Nice and thick.
And then he will, at that point, put out his flame.
Nobody
Okay.
has to watch.
This deal
Alright.
seems.
Greylog, you
It's
one-sided.
a fair
plunge.
deal.
You
because
plunge the party
either
back into
they
dark.
get to,
Technically,
even if
at
we
this
die,
moment,
doesn't really matter what
technically-
happens to our bodies if we're dead.
technically, at this moment of time, Lucian is kissing Gil.
You know that. Granted, the glamour has faded, though. Remember.
Yeah, I don't look. I'm still a shadow.
Oh, okay, well then Lucian's kissing some hunk.
Some hunk, some shadow hunk.
And Greylog, as Asari just is utterly indecent with you. Do you maintain concentration on speak with animals?
Yes,
Okay, noted.
I'm going to keep it up until it wears out.
Okay, noted. Asari, you plant a long, passionate kiss on Greylog, who just talked you guys out of having to fight a bunch of ravenous insects.
The man
Man.
deserved it.
Well, I see downsides to
For
this.
now.
But I see downsides.
And begin to make your way further down the valley. Greylog, at about this time, you're starting to get close to where the candle flames can be seen. But it's your party's choice. It's not like a huge detour to go to them, but basically you can stay on your path and not approach the lights, but at that point you will be relying purely on those with dark vision to guide you if you don't provide some kind of light for yourself or vision in some sense. So just so that's noted. Your last sort of lighthouse down here is going to be going past you shortly. And about that time, by this point you guys have been down in the valley for about a half hour. It's starting to get really muggy and humid, and you can see why the vermin like it down here. And Greylog, you start to hear some kind of mumbled conversation between the vermin at this point. And you notice that where they had just been kind of following you amiably, just not like organizedly, but more just with the curiosity of animals. But you notice the ants are starting to climb onto the walls. The locusts are jumping to stay off the ground. You notice each and every vermin is now either clinging to the walls or just trying desperately to stay off the ground. And you can hear them kind of mumbling to each other. As you can see a spider actually kind of help a locust onto the spider web to keep it off the ground. And just, off the ground. Stay high, stay high.
So when I hear this, I would like to stop at the party. There's something up ahead. The insects and everything are saying to stay off the ground. As
And-
far as up ahead goes.
Can the Vaven
Oh.
make anything out?
Make a perception check. And since we've been doing it this way up to this point, I will continue to make it a flat roll, even though, yeah, Austin pointed out mechanically you technically would have disadvantage.
Well, even then, it's based off of sound. But yeah, I was just saying, like most DMs don't do it. I think, like
Mhm.
a lot of DMs is like it's dark vision, so you ignore that.
Yeah, it would be kind of sucky if whenever I'm not in sunlight and I'm in darkness, I also still have.
Yeah, you basically never can have like anything more than a flat roll on perception. But yeah, so go ahead and just roll regular perception of Evan. I may keep that in mind for future campaigns, but I don't want to change a rule like literally halfway through.
Let me pull up this calculator and do some math here.
Yeah, but it gives you
It's
like
gotta be a 15.
All right, Avaben, Again, at this point, you guys are starting to approach the source of the candlelight, and at this point, you've only got like another third of the valley left before you approach what you presume to be the cavern wall. Focusing and looking ahead, you can see that the valley continues to go, getting narrower and narrower before you can see the mouth of a tunnel at its base. It looks to be about maybe a 20-minute walk from here. However, where the candlelight is coming from, you're now close enough to actually make out where the lights are coming from. You can see that there's what appears to be a small, somewhat hastily constructed hut, and surrounding it and operating what appears to be some kind of mushroom farm are small little candle wax golems of some kind. You can see bright flames on their heads, and their bodies are made of melted wax as they tend to the glowing mushrooms, and the candles on their head keep the area they're in brightly lit, which appears to be keeping the insects away.
Can I see why they would want to stay off the ground?
Nothing you can see seems like it would. If anything, if there's fire up ahead, they would likely want to stay either just away from that area or underground. But from what Greylog observed, and looking back at the insects, you can see it too. None of the insects seem to want to be on the ground at this point. So you can't see anything that would imply why. And if there was something, if there was like some kind of burrowing beast or something, you can't imagine these little candle wax dudes would just be working the farm without a care in the world.
Can Vaven tie a bit of his rope to one of his arrows, try shooting it out ahead of them to see if it triggers anything?
Sure. Vaben, you pull out an arrow from your quiver, tie a rope to the base, reel back, and
realistically, this would never work. But you know, D&D.
Yeah, D&D.
Oh, no, I've actually done that. It does work.
I've seen things where like the rope just yanks the arrow out of the sky.
It just depends on the.
Yeah, it depends on essentially the amount of give you have, more or less. Anyway, reeling your arrow back, you loose, and the arrow flies 50 feet forward and sticks into the stone roughly. You wait about 30 seconds, 45. About a minute passes. Nothing appears to happen.
All right. Now Vaven is going to slowly drag it back and see if that triggers anything.
Okay, while he's doing that, sorry?
I'm going to cast Merry Marionette. First level, because I only need one. And then I'm going to ask it to just kind of walk in that area to see if anything happens to my minion.
Okay. You conjure your merry marionettes, and you send your puppet, which dangles by strings, forward. And as the little puppet dances its way along, it meets Avaben's arrow being dragged back about halfway, stops to give it a little wave, continues onward. Avaben, as you retrieve your arrow, and Asari, as your puppet reaches, how far out are you willing to send it?
I'll ask Avaben, how much further should I put it?
Have it go into the light.
I'll just say, all right, little puppet, just step into light for me, darling.
The puppet turns and gives you a salute and starts kind of click-clacking and walking its way towards the distant farm being operated by these candle wax creatures. As that's happening, Paul, what are you doing?
Before that, I just want to say, all right, now do the Macarena.
It begins to dance as it makes its way towards the farm.
I love it when they do that.
I'm just imagining like one of those animations where like they're dancing and then just sliding along the ground. Like
I mean,
they're
that
not
is actually kind of what it's
walking.
doing, because the marionette is literally just pulled along by puppet strings, so it doesn't actually walk physically, it just kind of hovers. So yes, that is actually effectively what's happening. But yeah, so Paul, what are you doing?
Thought about being impulsive, but I already have an impulsive character, so I will wait.
All right. Paul, you and Greylog watch as Avaben, you reel your arrow back to yourself with no harm coming to you or it. And as you untie it and stick it back into your quiver, Asari, you and the party watch as your puppet approaches the mushroom farm. And at this point, one of the candle wax golems kind of perks up and kind of backs away from the puppet apprehensively, understandably, and you can see the other golems kind of reach for their farming tools, their scythes and hoes and whatnot, and you guys can just make out the golem that was approached by the puppet bark out in Undercommon. Something we can help you with?
I'm just gonna say to Mary, because I have no idea what that thing is saying because I don't speak under. I'm just gonna be like, well, I guess he seems not hostile, so I'm just gonna have Mary just kind of give a, salute, hello, little wiggle.
You back off, little creature. You don't know who you're messing with. I suggest you get back up to the city.
I'm gonna have Mary just kind of walk in a circle like it's lost.
The golems kind of look to each other and look towards you guys in the distance. This one with you?
You are! Oh my god.
No, you don't understand.
Yeah, that you can't understand. The whole time.
Oh well.
Yeah, sorry. It's with us.
If anyone can understand them. Can I have him
Indeed, you can.
tell her what they're saying?
Absolutely, go for it. Yeah, you don't actually have to do it in character if you want, but all right. Asari Avaben quickly translates for you what these farmers are saying.
I'll be like, oh, there he is. I don't know what I would do without your help at this time. Are you translating for me, eyes? Do you know which way the end is? We're just trying to pass through.
Pass through? Where you going?
Well, you see, there's
I'm
just some
looking for
local
valuable
pieces of
gems.
plant because, I hate being told that I can't do something. He said I couldn't get to the end of this tunnel, and I said I could. So if maybe you could help me and my friend.
Avaben's just trying to be like, have you seen a group of people moving through here?
The candle wax golems kind of look to each other, seeming kind of confused, but they kind of look to each other, kind of gauging how they want to play this before eventually kind of waving their flaming heads a bit and all right. After a bit of consideration, they look to you, Avaben. Yeah, saw those boomerang of folk passed through here with a cart about a day ago, and a few more of them have been filing throughout the day.
Did you happen to see where they are going?
Into the ravine.
Is that just straight on?
More or less. Tunnel winds here and there, but it's pretty easy to stay on the path. Just, I'd suggest you keep some lights on you, mate. The bugs will find you if you otherwise.
Oh, we've noticed them.
Yeah, I'll bet. Well, you be careful. Yeah, they went on ahead down to the end of the ravine. like I said, few tunnels that wind off, but it. What you trying to find the church or what?
Truthfully, we're trying to find them so we can kill them.
Ah.
Mm.
So it's you guys then.
Oh no.
What do you mean by that?
Oh no. What have
Let's
I
just
done?
say,
It's
let's
gonna
just
be
say
nice.
that we're not on the same team, but we have a common enemy.
You
hate
don't
to
like
do
them?
Ooh, yeah, the priestess. What was her name?
that. Peppa.
Yeah, Peppa priestess. Sent us to deal with them.
Make a deception check.
I was like, all the lying we've done.
I don't even know why they're like lying. Like, what are they even trying to gain?
Like, first it was sorry.
How do you know that's even the one that they're on the
19?
side of?
They tilt their heads and I'll see. Well, go on then.
Did you see what was in the cart they were bringing with them?
Nope, can't say we did.
Can
Insight
they
that.
even insight that?
Make an insight check.
Yeah, Amanda's wanting to insight it as well.
You make an insight check as well.
I don't pass.
I
rolled
got
a
a
nat
dirty
20.
20.
Okay. Sorry, they seem trustworthy. Avaben, they're lying their little candle wax asses off. And in fact, I will say, you can tell they seem like they got really cold, pardon my pun, whenever Greylog said they were with Peppa.
Okay, don't listen to him. He's just lying for. I don't even know why he's lying at this point.
Both.
All right, look. Okay. Are you... shush. Are you, Dark Elf boy, are you the son of the priestess?
Yes.
All right.
And if it helps you make any decisions, I tried to kill her earlier.
Nah, that's exactly what we wanted to be sure of. We're with the bees without hives.
Mm.
Yeah.
The cart had dynamite in it. They're planning to blow the tunnel.
To get that door open.
Well, last time they had dynamite, we gave them a very bad lesson.
Well, let's hope you can do it again. We're not sure where they found the pistol, but with all that dynamite they were carrying, I don't imagine they're planning to secure it quietly. Best case scenario, that boom's going to scare everything in this ravine out into the city above.
Oh.
It couldn't have happened to it. What's that phrasing? Whenever like
It
you
couldn't
say,
have
like,
happened to nicer people.
It couldn't have happened to nicer people.
You can see their candle wax brow kind of furrows a little bit, and not all of us are on the side of the priestesses, mate. There's good people in that city.
Unfortunately, you're probably right. There's good people in that city and people who didn't exactly have a choice in their lot in life.
Aye. There's about, I reckon in total we've seen about 13 making their way up into the ravine ahead. When you get into the tunnel, we didn't see what's at the end, but we see that they get into the tunnel and then you take the second left.
All right. Thank you. I don't
problem,
think we're going
mate.
to be able to teach them the same lesson because that involved blowing up their dynamite, which would create the same problem.
Aye. And,
Well, I could just get it wet.
well, whatever you're going to do, we wish you luck. If things do get loud, our people will do our best to keep the vermin corralled in into the ravine. But no promises.
Do
Maybe-
you have any idea why they might be scrambling to the walls right about here?
They kind of turn to each other, and the vermin, you mean? Can't see them
Yeah.
from where you are, but no, can't say I know. Maybe they know
For
something
some
we don't.
reason, they have decided that they do not like the floor of this cavern.
That's odd. Nah, can't say we know about that any.
Evaven just kind of looks back and to see if they're still all clambering onto the walls.
Which they in fact are. At this point, they've gotten about halfway up, and they're basically just following you guys from a distance of about 50 feet in the air, clinging to the walls.
What's the floor like? Like, is it just sand or?
The floor of this valley?
Yeah.
It's stone and bedrock.
Okay.
I think I know what it is.
Can Evaven look
Does it
for
look
like
they're
signs of
staying
traps?
outside of the light?
Make an investigation check. And one more time while he's rolling, Graylin.
I think it's the light, you said.
Does it look like they are staying out of the reach of the light?
That these guys are creating?
Yes.
Handle boy.
No, because the light these guys create doesn't extend crazy far, just enough to keep this house and the surrounding farmland in light. And they stopped being on the floor about 30 feet back.
Go on the ground and kind of feel the ground. Is it cold?
It has a kind of pleasant coolness to it. There's still a little bit of that kind of like ambient wet humidity to it, but yeah, it's kind of like pleasantly cool. And Evaven, what'd you get for
Great.
checking for traps?
18.
Evaven, you carefully check the surroundings, and you can even see the candle wax golems are kind of peeking around curiously, and some of them actually start to approach your group and just kind of check the walls to see if they can see the vermin as well. And Evaben, from this point onward, there's little in the way of actual structure. You can see the tracks of the boomer gangers and their cart continuing, but there's little in the way of anything that would imply there's some kind of trap that the creatures are worried about. And the Candlewax Golem nearest to you, Evaben, kind of shakes their head, looking up at the spider highest up on the wall, and that is odd. Never seen him all spooked like this. Normally all that does that is... What's that?
Is my speak with
No, wait, what
animals
were you
still
about
up?
to say?
Fire. They don't like fire. Bright lights scare them off.
Okay.
Yeah. That's why I was touching the stand to see if it was maybe different. But
No.
unless there's like lava or something that's under us that we don't know and they know because they're animals, well, insects, really.
Can't be
Evaben-
lava. We've been mining downwards for years.
Actually, can I do something, DM, real quick?
Well, real quick, Evaben, what?
Evaven's gonna look to Greylog and be like, "You're able to speak to them, right?"
As of,
I've got.
wait, yes, I can.
Do you think maybe you could ask them what they're afraid of?
I can in just a second. Sorry, what did you want to do?
Well, I can recall my insect and see if they have the same reaction before you want to talk.
I mean,
Is my talk with animals still going, or is it over?
Yeah, how long does it last?
Usually,
wait a minute.
10 minutes.
It has ended by this point.
Does that use a spell slot?
Yes.
It does.
Wow. God, that is shit.
What? What? The fact that it just saved us from fighting bugs and all that.
Yeah, I just saved you from like a huge encounter and gave you a potential tip about something coming up on ahead.
I mean, it's like you'd have to really, really pick your moments with it. I feel like it's
Well, I
like
mean-
a cantrip,
That's
to be fair, okay, well, I would say to be fair,
especially for a 10-minute duration.
well, lots of spells only last 10 minutes and use a spell slot.
like there's like 10 minutes. Is actually pretty long for a spell. Those spells don't.
That's
last.
long. That's like freaking. I can blink and that's past.
You know, like the longest spells outside of like the really fucking crazy ones usually last like an hour tops.
Really?
There's some that are 24, but those are rare.
Yeah. Otherwise, mages would be like people already debate that spellcasters are overpowered. This would just close that debate hand and foot.
Yeah, the rate is
Use like a level 1 or 2
Yeah.
spell slot, and you get a buff
I mean,
for
at least
like
it's talking
hours.
animals. It's not really that useful in combat. It's more of an RP thing.
Yeah, but you could
I
turn
suppose, but
it. I mean,
But,
but
regardless.
sorry,
Yeah, go ahead.
is your little insect, is that a spell as well, or is it just something you can do?
It's just something that I can do. It's a cantrip. It doesn't cost me anything.
Give it a try. Let's see what happens.
All right, so I will get my staff and I'll give it a tap and just be like, "All right, my lovelies, can you come out and play?" And I'll send my little bug.
All right, what spell is this?
infestation.
It's infestation, but I don't know if I can actually.
You cannot. That requires a creature to target. We've done this a lot.
Okay, so I'll bring Mary into like the the sand and have them attack Mary.
You're
And
really
see if they'll go.
fixated on this plan.
I
All
know.
If it works,
Since you should have the stat sheets for Mary, I'll let you resolve any damage stuff. But I will say at immediate observation, the insects swarm and termites begin to feast on Mary's marrow without any issue. Some of them kind of fall to the ground, crawl around, and jump back onto him, and they don't seem concerned at all.
okay, I guess I'll try casting Speak with Animals again,
Okay.
and he will cast it again.
All right.
Also, I think there's a
What
warlock.
spell slot level is it?
It's level
Is
1.
it like level 1?
Yeah, it's level 1.
Yeah, it's
At least it's a level you probably get a lot of slots for.
But,
Yeah.
I mean,
Mary is out.
no, at least
Okay.
warlocks.
You
can
all watch as
make it a cantrip.
Astari's
Fucking
termites
termite.
devour Mary and turn them into sawdust and begin to eat even that before returning to
aw.
Astari's staff.
Poor baby.
And real quick, just to point out what you were going to say. And some warlocks you can get as an invocation that you can literally cast Speak with Animals infinitely as many times as you want.
Yeah, it makes it into a cantrip, so just be like, hey, I speak with everyone, all the animals.
Yeah, my Beast Tamer character uses that. So Greylog, you cast Speak with Animals
It's
again.
probably not so bad that it's a level 1, because I think you probably get a lot of level 1 slots.
Generally, yeah.
I have
But-
4.
What Greylog?
He has 4 level 1 spell slots.
All right, so
But as soon as it takes effect, he's going to look up at the spider and say, "What are y'all hiding from on the wall? What's wrong with the floor?"
water coming.
Oh. Unless it's the floor with the...
Are
What
you
did
gonna
they
tell
say?
How soon?
You go into tunnel. Fire. Water.
Oh, crap. And he's going to then look at the others and say, as soon as they blow that tunnel, this entire area is going to flood. That's why they're up there. There's a water source nearby.
Wait, there's no water source in
Yeah,
this
he-
area
he-
except for... Oh, son
Yeah,
of
he
a
is saying
bitch.
Except for what?
The river up on the surface, air west.
Wow, they're
I
gonna
know
collapse
what
the freaking cave, man.
Well, we better get going. It was nice talking to y'all, but we've got a city to save and our own asses to save.
Yeah, thanks for the heads up, mate. We'll pass on word. Get people out of this area as much as we can.
Yeah, just get out.
Yeah,
pass
we're-
it
I can't
on to the
imagine
city
it's
as
good for
well.
y'all to have your fire put out.
Okay.
Yeah. Being a kobold's a hard life, mate.
But pass it on to the city as well. I don't know how far the flood will go.
Yeah, if they're flooding the whole river, this whole cavern could be underwater. We'll pass on word. Make sure to get as many people out as we can. Good luck, mates.
Sounds like the vermin running around would be the least of the worries.
Yeah, tell me about it.
But at this
Wait,
point,
wouldn't that?
Greylog is heading out.
All right, Greylog, you
No
start.
further
Yeah, we're
word.
heading out. We're not fucking around here anymore.
All right,
Yeah,
Avaven and
so-
Greylog start taking off. Asari, you, after a bit of hesitation, take off as well. Flower and Fall dart off of your shoulders, Paul. Paul, what are you doing?
Now, curious. We're curious. They won't actually use this. Are they like Charmanders? Their light goes out, they die.
You can make a history check if you want.
Sure, why not? Actually, make a roll tonight. 14.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That's
No, no,
been a whole lot for you to do.
Well, I could have tried to put more in, but I rolled some here and there. But yeah, I got 14.
You are vaguely familiar with these creatures. These are indeed kobolds. And to your knowledge, you don't know anything that makes it 100% that killing them would, or rather killing them, that putting out their fire would kill them, but you also can't imagine it's good for them. But you know that they're typically more associated to live in fire rather than rely on it. So as far as you know, they probably could survive having the fire put out, although they probably can't survive drowning.
But Zephyr doesn't have a fire. He's a kobold.
Indeed, and these aren't lizard people either.
Yeah, like they're wax people. They just call themselves.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
What's a... What?
Interesting, ain't it?
I don't understand. I don't understand.
Well, it's simple. That means that one of these things, red lizard people or candle people, one of them must not be kobolds if one of them is.
Or maybe they're both kobolds. They just both
Thank
call
you, Matthew,
they
for
both-
that wonderful clarification.
Maybe they both call their race kobolds. You know, it's just convenient.
Yeah,
I guess it's what they're so
whatever.
comfortable
At
in.
first, I thought you were gonna say it was something like cobalt, not kobold.
Yep, kobold.
No, it's more confusing than that.
But alright.
I
Either
don't
way.
understand.
Alright.
Greylog is
Paul's
You
off.
get that
going
reference?
pretty
Matthew?
fast.
Yeah. All right, Paul, you just gonna keep pace with the group?
Sure.
No.
All right, Paul, giving your mount a little
Oh,
spur
hey,
kick.
fire and water.
You start darting your way to keep pace with the group. Has Greylog, from the sounds of it, you're just running?
He's not like full, like he's not using all of his speed, but he is like he's going his usual 30 speed, but he's
Yeah,
not,
basically you're not sprinting, but like yeah, you're going fast enough to where you could like stop if you need to.
yes.
Okay.
Can my steed see in the dark?
No.
I was wondering. I don't think so. I didn't think so. I was like,
Yeah, as far as I'm aware, no. All right, Paul. At this point, you and Greylog are going blind, or rather, going in blind. Avaben and Asari's footsteps are the only thing you have to guide you as the group breaks stealth entirely.
How long does Asari's
I
thing last?
I want to say
Several
for
hours.
yeah, it's for a few hours.
Is it a few hours or a hour?
I'd have to look at it. Give me a minute.
what spell are you doing? What spell was it?
I think just dark vision.
Dark.
But I'm assuming it lasts for probably about an hour. Was my assumption.
8.
8 hours. Okay.
All right. I guess that's one of those rare spells, apparently.
Well, yeah. Combat spells and just certain spells are not usually that long.
And it basically depends on their, like, because dark vision is one of the things where you would kind of need it to last that long for it to be useful. Whereas speak with animals, you're just going to cast it, get the information you want from the animal, and then move on.
Talk for 10 minutes and be like, haha.
Mm-hmm. You guys pick up the pace. Again, Paul and Greylog just making your way along through nothing but sound as you guys make it to the end of the ravine. Stretching out before you is a dark, moldy, dank tunnel. And Avaben and Asari already you can see stretching out is just this long, walkable but a lot more cramped than before. Paul and Avaben and Asari, you kind of
If it's dank, is there a lot of weeds in it?
No. The taller among you have to kind of duck a bit being in here. And you all make your way into this tunnel mouth. And you can see Greylog with a glance behind you. Less seeing it and more hearing it, the sounds of the vermin gradually falling silent as they appear to not be willing to venture into this tunnel. However, they appear to be waiting. Judging from their sounds, they're waiting at its mouth to see what is drifted out of it based on the results of the fight.
So at this point, once they get to the tunnel, he's going to look at everyone and say, I think at this point we need to try to have some sort of stealth so we can sneak up on them.
Fair enough.
So he's going to stealth.
Okay.
Do you want to make sure that we can do it a little bit more better than usual?
And he will cast at the same time.
Okay.
He will cast what?
Pass without a trace. So all of you get a plus 10 to your stealth checks.
Cast without
All right,
Okay, so hang on, let me get my calculator out.
Yeah, everyone roll stealth, and you get a plus 10 to this.
It's whatever you
So 19 plus 6 plus 10. That would be a 35.
Okay.
Well,
And that's a
29 for me.
oh wow, I actually rolled pretty
it's a
decently.
dirty 20. Oh, not a dirty 20, but a natural 20. So
Wait.
that's a 31 for me.
Okay. And
No, even my 19 was better than his 20.
and Paul, what'd you get?
Well, I first rolled an 18, then a 19. I got a dirty 20, so 30.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah.
You all crouch low. Again, Greylog and Paul, you can't see anything at this point. You are operating purely on touch and sound. Sorry, you and Avaben are the only ones who can see.
Could we put before it begins to thin? Could Asari take the back and just put the two blind ones in the middle?
Yeah, of course.
Also, Matthew, out of curiosity, haven't the Boomergangers mostly been like humans?
For the most part, you've seen an elf or a dwarf among them occasionally, but for the most part, it's humans.
So a good number of them are probably going to have disadvantage in this dark environment.
In theory.
I was like, so we, unless they're in
Well,
like,
not Avaven.
well, like Paul was saying, they're gonna have the same situation we're in. Some of us are gonna have it, some of us aren't.
Sorry, you
But
usher.
Avaven can see in the dark.
You usher Greylog and Paul into the center of the group to make sure that they do not take a wrong turn down the tunnel or anything, any other such worries.
Gorilla would like to be behind Ivan.
Okay, so the marching order is Paul, Flower and Fall, Ivabin, Greylog, Asari.
Oh, so
Paul?
you're gonna update the map on Roll20?
Not yet.
Does Flower and Fall have night vision? Dark
Nope.
vision?
Nope.
Okay, so they should probably be behind Ivan as well.
Okay. In that case, the marching order is Avabin, Paul, Flower Fall, Greylog, Asari.
It's like,
If you wanted to move on?
Yeah, I'd wanted to be behind Ivan because I got something I want to do as soon as.
Well, at this point, everyone's behind Ivabin.
sorry.
Well, I mean, like directly behind.
It's like everybody is like just like hiding behind a Vaven as
Also-
he advances forward.
Something to kind of keep, I guess, more for later on, I guess, for future. Sorry, you have natural night vision.
No, I don't.
Yeah, you're Dragonborn. I think Dragonborns.
No.
Dragonborn don't have.
Do you know?
night vision.
Look at that.
All right, so in that case, Avabin, Greylog, Paul, Flowerfall, Asari.
Thank you.
Oh wait, I do.
He is right. You do have dark vision.
Because you're subclass or subrace that have dark vision. I was like,
Dude, I used up a whole
spell.
lot and I didn't even fucking need to.
I was like,
Now I feel
Wow.
stupid.
it's your subclass that has that.
It's funny because I actually thought that was the case, so I was going on the assumption you had dark vision the whole time, and you mentioned you cast that spell, and I was just like, all right.
I'm sorry.
Not all
I mean, it's fine. It's not hurt. It's not hurting anyone. Like, you're fine.
It only hurt
All right.
me. I don't have a fucking spell slot now.
Well, I mean, not much to be done about it now.
I know.
All right,
Well, now you know for future reference.
Greylog.
Yeah.
You kind of work your way towards the front of the line, but staying behind Avabin. Avabin, you're at the lead. Making your way forward, you see that about 30 feet into the tunnel, it starts to kind of branch off. It's less clean tunnels and more naturally occurring cracks and crevices in the walls. You can see a path going left and a path going right. And there is, of course, the tunnel itself
I'm
still
sorry,
going
I
forward.
spaced out.
There's some cracks and crevices in the walls that essentially act as tunnels, even though they don't appear to be naturally mined, as, again, nobody can usually get down here. The tunnel continues to go forward, but there's a crevice to your left and a crevice to your right.
Didn't they say to go
supposed to go
left, the candle dudes?
The second tunnel to go left. Not the first.
Can
the
I even
second.
remember what they said?
Make a history check.
Well,
Oh, for fuck's sake.
You gotta pay attention, man! That's what dialogue is for.
Can I help him?
Yeah, make a history. No, actually, since you remembered it, I'll say, Avabin, you kind of have to take a minute to remember if you should turn here, but Greylog does remind you that they said take the second left.
Okay. We will continue straight ahead.
All right.
I was like, come on, that happened like 5 minutes ago.
You're the one who couldn't remember it!
I was like, it happened 5 minutes ago. So why can't you?
Like I said, I spaced out.
Well, I mean, don't space out.
You say that like it's that simple, but you know
yeah,
it's
like
not.
I just.
I'm aware, but... All right. Continuing forward. You're all having to kind of duck a little bit. Paul, your mount is basically crawling to fucking continue following you. Kind of awkwardly snaking its way along.
Guess I have to get off of it.
Mm-hmm. Because, again, the tallest among you, or even you, are having to kind of crouch a
It's
bit
an
to
elk,
fit
not
here.
a snake, Matthew.
It continues to snake its way along. Paul, even you're having to kind of duck to fit in here comfortably. Avaben, as the tunnel kind of winds and weaves, and you notice with a little bit of disconcertedness that it kind of gradually goes upward before, as you guys are essentially at this point just marching uphill effectively, which is between that and having to slouch, you're not like mechanically exhausted, but you're very tired already, even though it's only been like 10 or 20 minutes of walking.
Could I, while we're walking, could I eyeball the cave walls and see if, like, any detonators or anything are on it?
Make an investigation check.
What's my plus? What's my plus? What's my plus?
Investigation.
16?
Sorry, you kind of lightly trace the walls on either side of you, looking for wires, fuses, anything. But at the moment, you don't see anything. Avaben at the head of the group, you come to another set of cracks in the wall, and you notice on your left, the crack kind of forms this interesting shape of a larger crevice going upward, and 4 smaller crevices kind of branching off of that one on either side, forming 8 cracks in total around the central one.
It said the second left, right?
Indeed.
And this is the second left, right?
Indeed.
Okay, so that's where we're gonna go.
All right. Avaben, at this point, not only are you having to kind of duck, to get into this crevice, you literally have to do that thing of, like, sidling your way along, like, sideways. You literally cannot move your arms in either direction at this
Can
point.
Paul and his mount even fit in this?
Paul, your mount will not be able to fit in this, but you, with a bit of a struggle, can.
We're gonna need to get some grease out to grease him up.
Yeah, I just like,
Anybody got some butter?
I cast produce grease.
Is that a spell?
yeah.
Not produce grease, but grease is a spell, yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's true.
no. I was
Can you light it
joking.
on fire?
Yeah.
I believe so, actually.
I think that actually that's a mechanic.
Yeah, like, I think
do
that is actually a mechanic that you can, like, fucking spill it and then set it on fire.
I was
Interesting.
just being sarcastic.
All right.
Yeah.
Avaben, you go first.
Recast him.
Sidling your way along, literally scraping your back and stomach against the sides of the cavern as you crawl your way along. Honestly, a part of you is not even fully convinced that this goes anywhere with how tight it is. Sorry, you stay in the... You stay in... What's up?
Before we go down this, do we see any cart tracks? Because
Make a
there's
survival
a cart
check.
down here.
This reminds me of this story who went into a cave. This guy who went into a cave and he wound up getting stuck upside down and died like that.
Yeah, I've heard that one, actually. Good story to be thinking about while you guys are fighting. Yeah.
It's a 21.
Greylog, you can see the cart tracks continue down this tunnel before stopping at this crevice.
Do we see the carts?
Make a perception check.
Because it would not have fit.
Definitely not.
19.
Greylog, turning your attention up from the tracks, you kind of look around and you see up ahead that there's a few larger cracks in the walls. And as you kind of work your way up, you see that on the left side of the next set of cracks in the walls, the cart has been stowed in the shadows of the next crevice, which is significantly larger.
Okay, so he'll go back and say, okay, yeah, this is definitely the right way to go. Their cart's up ahead.
Is it full?
No. They just left the cart. They took the supplies.
Wow.
Let's get going.
Yeah.
All right, Avaben, hearing that conversation at the back of the little crack you're working your way down, you speed up the pace a little bit. Sorry, you have to usher those who can't see to find the right crevice. Paul and Greylog, working your way along blindly, this experience is nothing short of terrifying, as you have to feel around for this narrow little crevice and then start belly sliding your way along it sideways. Paul, your
Paul's
armor...
like armor is probably getting scuffed like crazy.
No, yeah, I was going to say, Paul, your armor basically all but screeches as you kind of...
Oh.
along the...
Yeah, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. Yeah.
Hey guys.
Give us away.
I was like, man, do you think they hear it? Do you think they know we're here?
Alright.
Paul, you kind of sarcastically quip that over the sound of your armor screeching.
Yeah.
And that is why I don't bother with those things like that.
Flower and
I
Fall...
agree.
So limiting.
Flower and Fall, you flit in easily at their small size. Greylog, you go in next and kind of start sliding your way along. And Asari, with one last look at the surroundings, you follow in after the party.
How's my big lizard butt doing?
Again, not great, but since you're not wearing any armor, it hurts like hell at your huge size to do this,
Oh, yeah.
but it's not giving you guys away.
Do reptiles like feel like scraping on their scales?
Only if it goes opposite the direction of the scales, which in Asari's case, it's not.
Because like I believe like the idea of scales that it's almost like a natural armor, right?
Effectively, more or less, yeah.
In fact, I think like ancient peoples use scales as actual armor.
Yeah, scale mail. All right.
Do I lose any hit points over this?
No, but it is very uncomfortable. Think of it as basically skinning your knee, but on your stomach. Avaven, first to enter. You are the first to emerge. Oh, some static noise.
Yeah, you are buzzing.
Holy shit.
That was on Austin's end, I think.
What?
There was some static on your end.
Weird.
There was some buzzing like wasps.
Yeah, but it's good now. Avaven, first to enter, first to exit. You pull yourself along until you see that the crack thankfully widens out a little bit into what appears to be a small natural cave. It's not a huge one, only like 20 by 20. And as you pull yourself free, your boot, the last thing to exit from the crack, you see in front of you a massive, effective doorway carved into the stone, smooth stone set against the rough-hewn natural stone of the surroundings.
Can
And
you even see anybody in like beyond the door?
no, the door is completely solid, but you can make a perception check to see if you can like hear anything.
All right, we'll try that first. $17.
Okay. Oh, also, real quick, while I'm detailing this, if possible, could somebody check to make sure the stream's audio is still good? Just because I want to make sure whatever happened to Austin's mic didn't like bunk up our audio or anything.
I'll check.
Thank you. Avaben, as you wait for the party members, in this case, the scraping Paul, to arrive after you, just as Flower and Fall are flitting over Paul and getting into the cave and kind of looking around curiously, you press your ear to the doorway, which you notice the smooth stone carving against it is in the shape of a spider.
Sounds fine on my end.
All right, good. And as you press your ear to the stone, with a 17, you can hear the sounds of chatter. It's highly muffled, so you can't make out the specifics, but there are definitely people on the other side of this door.
Can have even quietly crack the door and have a peek in there?
At about this time, Paul is pulling himself free with a final from the crack in the wall, and as Greylog and Asari are working their way up, Avaben, as you step back, you do not see a way to easily open this door. However, you do see in the center is a small spider-shaped indentation, a smaller spider within the spider, almost like a baby spider on its mother's back. But you don't see any crack on the door itself that would allow it to.
Does it look like the little pendant thing would fit into it?
Absolutely, it does.
Okay. I think he's going to wait for everybody else to show up first before he does this.
All right. Vaben, you pull free the pendant of Arachne that your uncle gave you, and you wait. Much more quietly, Greylog and Asari emerge from the crack in the wall, and all of you who can see in the dark see Avaben standing in front of a large spider doorway, holding a spider-shaped key in front of a spider-shaped lock.
Mm-hmm.
Paul,
So,
you see nothing, but you realize you're out of the hole at least.
Like, situation unchanged.
Yeah, Greylog, same for you.
Okay, so at this point, he's going to light a torch, place it on the ground. Since this is a solid stone door, we don't have to worry about getting the light away.
Okay. Greylog, you light a torch, and Paul, you and Greylog are almost immediately blinded by the severity of the light, and have to take a minute for your eyes to adjust as the cave is now alight with flame. You can see the floor and walls are natural rock, a few small stalagmites on the floor, and now Paul and Greylog, the two of you, can make out the door, and Avaben holding one of the keys.
So, when I see this, I'm going to stand next to Ivan with my hand on my focus, so that as soon as he opens that door, I can cast a spell into the room.
Okay.
What?
All right, I guess I will try. I will try to quietly open it so I can have a look first, if it is possible.
For fun, roll me a stealth check. If you can.
I can't use my one from earlier.
No.
Oh. Do I still get the +10?
Greylog. How long does Pass Without a Trace last?
1 hour.
Up to an hour.
All right, and your concentration hasn't been broken, so unless you wanted it to be. So yes, Pass Without a Trace is still active.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's roll that shit. Okay. Not a great flat roll, but with the pluses, it should be decent. And then plus 23.
Okay. Avaben, you look to your party members, the twins, the knight, the scholar, and the changeling, before pressing the medallion, an indirect gift from your mother, but more a gift from your uncle, and press the spider-shaped medallion into the spider-shaped lock. And almost immediately, the cavern begins to rumble.
So not possible.
Unfortunately, no. However, I will keep that in mind in terms of if you specifically are seen. You all watch as 1, 2, 3, one by one, almost like a pizza with slices of it being removed. the door divides into 8 pieces that retract into the
I think we're about
surrounding
to get surprised.
surrounding cavern walls. And Greylog, you said as soon as the next room was visible to you, you were going to cast a spell?
Correct.
What would you like to cast?
Tidal wave.
Okay.
Are you insane?
Let me pull... It's up to him what he wants to do.
Any fuses that are lit out. It is water, right?
And you can't light a wet fuse either. And it should, if possible, knock them prone as well if they don't succeed on their save.
Okay, conjure a wave of water, crash down area, 30 feet long, 10 feet wide, 10 feet tall. Okay. And I believe a torch gives you 40 feet of light in total, if I'm correct. So, you all watch as soon as the last bit of the door opens, Greylog, you hold out your focus and conjure a massive tidal wave that sweeps into the next cave. And Avaben, the voices you were hearing, if they were talking before, they're silent now. And there's a lengthy pause. And with the torchlight that Greylog's provided in the place he left it anyway, you can't see fully into the cave, although you can see a chamber of what appears to be much smoother.
Vision.
No, I'm getting to you, don't worry. You can see that the entrance is smooth stone, similar to the doorway itself. Avaben and Asari, on the other hand, you can see a bit better. You can see that the next cave is very small, similar to this one. It's only 20 by 20. And there's nothing in it. Greylog's water just sweeps over the cave and then just kind of floods the cave ambiently before settling. And then it vanishes. Greylog, you have just enough time to realize that you have left your torch on the ground before Paul and Greylog, you are plunged back into darkness as Greylog's tidal wave floods the chamber, spills back into the cave you're in, and extinguishes the torch.
You'll then cast his Produce Flame.
And how much light does Produce Flame give you?
I think the same as a torch, but let me double check.
Actually, it's 10 feet, or 10 feet of dim light, 10 feet of bright light, so 20 feet.
Yeah, 20 feet total. Okay. Greylog, you and Paul are provided with a much dimmer but easier to rely on light as the water floods for a moment before vanishing.
Avaben is going to say, so Greylog, your water hit. This cave was completely empty.
Well, they were here. Where'd they go?
Can Avaben see like a way that continues on?
Make a perception check.
Could I help by looking for any signs of like where anybody would go?
Yeah, sure, I'll allow that. Perception with advantage, Avaben.
10 and 8.
All right. You can't see anything. The next cave seems completely empty. There's not even a way forward. It seems like this amazing, well-designed, magical door just led into an empty room.
Can Avaben investigate for a slot that looks like the medallion would fit into it?
All right, so are you going to enter the next room?
Yes.
Yes.
All right.
We have to do something to
Avaben,
progress the plot because the perception check revealed nothing.
Avaben, make an investigation check to check the room. What are the rest of you doing?
Greylog's just me walking around in the chamber, looking for exits or anything that could figure out where these guys went.
All right, so you're going to head into the chamber as well?
Correct.
I'm going to as well.
All right, Paul, what are you doing?
Well, we're not progressing the plot, I'll tell you that right now.
Well, I would like to, assuming that it takes some time, I'm going to use my last second level spell spot. I'm going to cast Find Steed. I'm bringing back.
Just like bring him in here.
Bring him back.
All right,
my boy.
Paul. While the party investigates the next chamber, you take the time to conjure your steed back to you.
My boy.
I rolled an 11 for investigation.
All right, and Greylog, you and Asari are looking for signs of where anyone could have gone.
Yeah.
Yes.
Roll me investigation with advantage, Greylog.
Hey!
Bless you.
Hey!
Bless you.
Oh, thank you. So, the first one is a 1. The second one is a natural 20.
Okay.
Wow.
Greylog, you and Avaben head into the chamber, accompanied by Flower and Fall. Paul, you stay behind to conjure your steed to basically get through the crack in the wall without having to worry about injuring themselves. And Asari, as you're the last to enter with Paul on the about behind the door, you look around, and again, it's a rather plain room, 20 by 20. Although you notice it's kind of like a more smooth, domey shape, which is interesting. But you realize not like a dome like where the top curves, more like a dome where the bottom curves. Kind of like a bowl shape, which is rather interesting. Greylog is just kind of looking around blindly because, again, only the light of his produced flame to go by. You see Avaben checking the walls, and almost more out of boredom than anything, you turn your head upwards. You see that 80 feet. You see that 80 feet above you, there is no cavern ceiling. There's just chains forming a cage. And how far does dark vision, the spell, give you? Because your normal dark vision would not give you the range for this, I don't think.
That's a good question.
I think it's the same.
Me...
Pretty sure it might be the same.
Yeah, it's the same.
I'll double check just to be sure.
Vaven gets 120 feet of dark vision, but he would have to be told to look up.
Yeah, your dark vision is not enough to do this, so... Asari, you see that the cavern ceiling stops at a chain cage. And you have just enough time to kind of take that in. You don't even have time to pass it along to the rest of the party before all of you begin to get, again, even those of you who were in the darkness, your eyes having to adjust so rapidly, get blinded for a moment by an onslaught of light as not just lanterns, but these strange cubicle things putting out bright white light that creates this blinding, almost pure light. It's nothing like anything you've seen before. And as you're all put into the bright din of spotlights, you all can just make out figures silhouetted against the base of the lights with rifles slung over their shoulders.
So I will be like, you guys, we should probably look up.
Too late for that.
Yeah, Avaben, Greylog, you and the twins both look upwards. And Paul, from the outside, as you're just petting your steed, you see the party suddenly bathed in bright lights. And you all can see now that the Boomer Gangers are 100 feet above you, 20 feet over the cage. And you hear the sound of rifles being cocked, and a boomerganger steps
Does
forward.
it sound like how many people I guessed it was?
I'll say, yeah. There seems to be about 10 of them.
Okay. They're 100 feet away, right?
Yeah, 100 feet upward. All right, guys. We can do this the easy way or the hard way.
Says the one who just sounds like he just hit puberty.
Shut up! All right, look.
He's so adorable.
I'm then going to throw my produced flame at the one.
Magic missile.
All right, what are the ranges on those two things?
Magic missile is 120 feet.
Okay, and
It doesn't say.
Well, yeah,
it doesn't give a distance.
You just put it in your hand. I don't think you can throw it.
No, it's an actual weapon that.
Oh no, you said you can. It said you can hurl a flame at a creature within 30 feet of you, like a ranged spell attack.
so you can't produce flame, these guys.
It does.
Fine. I will use scorching ray at him.
All right.
Question.
What's up?
Are these lights blinding Avaven?
No, these are not natural sunlight.
That is very weird that it only specifies natural sunlight would blind me.
Otherwise,
Like, I feel like a bright enough light should have the same effect.
yeah. I mean, I guess I just.
No, I mean, think about like LED lights, fire.
Yeah, those
Yeah.
blind me. Those blind me more than the sun does.
To be fair, you're also not an elf.
Yeah, and also to be fair, that rule is basically made for a situation where in D&D normally the brightest a light can possibly get is a fire, and you're typically not dealing with like searchlights.
There's daylight.
Okay. Well, if that's the case, because of my feet, I have 600 range on my bow.
Indeed.
Can I see the targets then, if I'm not blinded?
It's a bit difficult because again they're kind of silhouetted against the lights. But yes, you
But I
can.
have 120 feet of dark vision, so
Well,
they're still within my dark vision.
No, yeah, it's less that and more. Basically, the lights are pointed at you, and they're standing between you and the light. So to aim at them, you're having to look directly at an intensely bright light. You can see them. It's
Can
just
I aim at
like
the light
yeah. Yes, you may.
with an explosive arrow?
Yes, you may.
Because I don't know if a regular arrow would pierce the light itself to hit them.
All right. Make me an attack roll, and
I
we'll.
do have. Well, I think the arrow damage isn't what's going to be the important thing here. But
All right. So
Mine just hit.
yeah. So okay. So yeah, we'll take this one at a time. So sorry, your magic missile. Yeah, it just automatically hits, right? It's not like an attack roll or anything.
No.
No,
All right.
hits.
Okay. Roll for damage.
Three forks.
All right. You throw your magical darts upward, and while you can't clearly make out which was the one speaking, you manage to strike true anyway, and you hear it of the high-pitched boomerganger. And Greylog, your produced flame. Is that a dex save?
No, it's a scorching ray.
Yeah.
Oh, scorching ray. Is that
we
a?
established he can't use that fire thing.
No. Yeah. So sorry. I just knew it was a fire thing. So, and what's that?
It's I have to make a roll to hit him.
Yeah.
Okay, roll to hit.
I've already rolled all three. The first one's a 21. The second one is a 22. And the third one is a 19.
All right, those hit. Roll for damage.
I'm going to go ahead and roll my hit dice as well.
Yeah, go ahead. Just taking care of business here.
I'm assuming I don't get my.
No, you get it.
Oh, it takes the time. It's not like an action.
Oh, is it not instantaneous? How long does it take?
10 minutes.
No, you do not get it. Sorry.
Yeah.
However, your steed is still on the other side, so.
And that's 18 fire damage.
Okay. You throw your scorching ray upward, and you hear another. Ah! And Avaben, you knock an explosive arrow into your composite bow. Draw back, fire. What'd you roll to hit?
27.
That's a hit on the spotlight. So for the explosive arrow, hang on, I have it written
I assume
down.
that the arrow damage itself will not apply here.
Yeah, because you're hitting an inanimate object, and it's an explosive, and it's again inanimate object that's not magical in any way.
Yeah,
so
it would have been pretty hard for an arrow to pierce that, I'd imagine.
So with that said, the fellows around this poor spotlight are going to have to make some saves.
Are any of them damaged?
One of them is the one who had been doing the speaking.
Can I add my D8 to that?
Yeah, sure. I'll allow that.
Okay, so what
all
am I rolling?
Well, first I need to make a dex save. So let me do that.
Well, I'm going to roll the same.
Right.
I roll the same thing either way. It's just
Yeah, right. Yeah,
you're
good
gonna
point.
half it or not.
Right. Yeah. So this will be 6d6 fire damage.
All right, let me get that calculator out. Clear and go. Bad. Average. It's 6, right?
Yeah, 66. Okay,
I'll
sorry about
add
that.
a
I was
D8.
gathering what I needed.
Technically, because the save applies to the fire damage, would the D8 technically be separate from the halving?
That is actually a legitimately fair question. I'll say sure.
Okay. So I'll roll the D8's damage separately.
And all three succeed, but that means they'll just take half, so.
Okay.
So yeah, just let me know how much
It'd
raw
be-
fire damage is done, and
So
we'll
it'll
go
be
from there.
19 fire damage and then 7 of the Colossus Slayer damage.
All right, so divide that in half, and then
Do you round down?
I typically round down with the, but
Okay,
there's
so-
some exceptions. So
So the guy who was already damaged will take 16 damage.
okay,
Everyone else will take 9.
all right, thank you. That simplifies it. Let me get my battle notes up, just so I can keep track of health. All right, so okay, so that's that much left on those fellas, and okay. Avaben, you draw your arrow, pull back, and loose. And it feels satisfying to loose an arrow from your new bow. As the explosive arrow strikes dead center, and you hear the sound of glass shattering, and you briefly see sparks fly before that the whole upper area of the cavern is wreathed in flame. Paul, from your position, you're already hearing explosions and seeing the flashes of fire, and see the light surrounding the party get just a little bit dimmer as both they and the platform they were standing on begin to burn and give way. However,
Were any other lights destroyed in the explosion, or just the one that was hit?
just the one that was hit. There appears to be about 4 in total, with that one destroyed 3. And
It's just gonna be like I'd suggest you drop those things.
And Avaben, as you make your very polite suggestion, you hear a new voice speak out through the din. Forget it, men. We'll take the armor and the compass off their bodies. Blow the dynamite. And you all
What the
hear...
fuck? We don't even get a chance to stop it.
I mean, do you see the dynamite anywhere?
Well, no. We got attacked immediately.
Yes.
When I hear that, could I please cast a spell up there?
Up where? Just at the Boomer Gangers in general?
150 feet up.
Okay. What are you casting?
Sleet Storm. It's freezing rain and sleet, so maybe it will stop them?
Yeah.
I can't see where the dynamite is, but I can see them.
Okay. What is the effect of Sleet Storm?
It's a DC 14.
It knocks them
It's a
prone.
40-foot radius centered on the point. So everything within 40 feet of my point has to make a dexterity save.
All right. Everything within 40 feet of your chosen point, that would indeed consume the entire top of the cavern.
Beautiful.
Uh,
I will take off that spell slot. Hope for the best.
And when I see her doing this, I'm going to cast it as well as
Oh, you can do it too?
as an extra bit. So
Okay.
if they save hers, their spell won't.
okay. So that'll
I
be...
can do.
what's the DC for your things, Greylog?
Mine is a 14.
Okay, so
And
two...
then I need
14 deck saves from all of the nice fellows. To make this
And
go
then I will-
to make this go a wee bit faster, I'll roll for them as a collective. Or not like, but each platform as a collective, I mean.
I just-
Alright. Alright. So to make this a little bit easier math-wise, because that's two different saves with advantage and disadvantage being taken into account. So you guys go ahead and roll damage, and I'll just write down how much damage will be done for successes. And let me see, does this do half?
Interestingly enough, it doesn't do damage. It just makes everybody prone.
And it
Okay.
covers everything in ice and water, pretty much.
Makes it difficult terrain.
And makes it difficult terrain.
And
Okay.
deck save.
It covers the area with ice and water, you said?
Yeah.
Yep.
Although it interestingly does
The
not
ground-
affect the ground where you guys are because it's magical. So,
Yep.
and they
it
put it
says,
so high up
the
that they
ground-
can't, that it won't reach to you guys.
Yeah, but it says ground of the area is covered with slick ice, making it difficult terrain.
And then I
When a
have my
creature
shield.
enters a spell's area for the first time on a turn or starts its turn there, it must make a dexterity saving throw.
Okay.
Also,
Best
it
I
also
can
does
do.
say if it's exposed, exposed flames are doused.
Yeah. Okay. Noted. Okay. In that case,
Oh, so it says just outright that the flame is just doused outright. There's no like save to it.
yeah. Well, they have to or actually wait. Yeah. The area is heavily obscured. Exposed flames are doused.
So, save or not, any flame that's in the that 40 feet area is out.
Yeah.
Yep.
In that 40 feet area, just where it's hopefully it's in that area.
Well, it's also difficult terrain, so if they're trying to like move around, they can't.
Well,
All right.
can just slowly. but we have time to.
It's not really a question of whose Sleet Storm does what, given the nature of two spellcasters using identical spells in an identical area. Avaben, you and the twins watch as the spellcasters wave their hands, say their incantation, and the area above the spotlights begins to darken with clouds, and sleet, hail, and freezing rain begin to pour down on them. And you can hear yelling and panicking as every boomerganger up in those positions falls prone.
That is so satisfying.
Sorry, and Greylog just high five.
Which would mean
Carried it.
whenever I believe getting up halves your movement, right?
Indeed.
And it also.
And then the
it's
rough
difficult
terrain would have their movement again.
Yes.
So like if they had like 30
Question.
feet of movement, they get halved to 15, and then that would get halved to like 7 feet.
Yeah.
Or
Which would then
5.
round down to 5.
Yeah.
No, it would be 7.
Well,
would-
he's saying
No,
round down
round down
because
to 5.
he's saying like.
Yeah, because you have to move 5 feet at a time.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah, 5's the next to 0, 5 is the slowest you can go. What's up?
When they fall prone, do they fall off of their
No.
stands?
No.
Aww.
He's not that nice.
You hear it, sorry. We don't do that.
Plus,
Paul?
we don't have Monas anyways.
We've got nothing else to do, boys. Stand down.
Yes. Yes.
Since the party just got 2 turns, effectively, what would you like to do? You can see all this going down. You can't see the boomergangers, but you can hear them and see the party basically doing long-range battle with them.
Yeah, I get it. The party members are attacking people, and we're just thinking, are they a threat? Can I get my boy?
Yeah.
I already cast a spell. Yes. Paul will telepathically tell my boy he'll come back for him and believe him.
All right, Paul, with much distress and resignation, you abandon your spell and message your mount to let them know that you will not be abandoning them in the darkness, and run into the cavern. Paul, you run in just in time to see that the ceiling is a swirling whirlwind of ice and rain. However, it is now heavily obscured, which between that and the boomergangers having half cover up there, you can no longer see what they're doing, although you can hear the panic shouting.
Yeah, we got... Now we can't see them. Okay, alright. Duly noted.
As he walks in, sorry, just kind of smiles. I was going to try to reason with them.
Okay.
Also, Matthew, I want to point out, sharpshooter means my ranged weapon attacks ignore half and 3/4 cover.
Noted.
It's still heavily obscured, so it's probably a disadvantage.
Well, yeah, but it's only heavily obscured now. Heavy obscuration blocks vision entirely. So, basically, in a heavily obscured area, it is treated as if you were blind.
Interesting.
I'll say to the party members, you guys go and try to find the pistol. I'll stay here and I'll make sure that these guys don't move.
Why don't you and I stay here? Because Ivan has the pendant still. And we can at least go long range.
Mm-hmm.
But at least Ivan knows somewhat how to find the pistol, right?
Yes, he does have a pendant.
So,
Yes, but you know how to get to the pistol, right?
How would he know that?
How do I know this? How would I know? You don't even know.
Yeah. How exactly would I know that? I just know where. I just learned where it is. Like, how long ago was it that we learned where it is?
About like a day ago.
Yeah, like last night.
I've only known where it is for about a day.
Oh, actually, no. It was this morning.
I've only
Alright,
known
well,
about where it is since this morning.
Alright, let me rephrase that for you. As my precious Greylug said, start looking.
We've only got so much time before they try to light that wick again.
It assumes we put it out in the first place.
Well, they,
But I'm trying to.
Well, I don't hear any booms. Do you?
But
is there? Any
I would
way-
just say we just kill these people and then go find it. They can't light the thing if they're dead.
Yeah, he does have a point.
If I drop the spell, would it just continue being a difficult terrain, or do I have to
Well,
concentrate on it?
I mean,
Let me check.
drop the, just drop the spell.
The ground in the area is covered with slick ice, making it difficult terrain. When it's
Does
first
it
time
basically say for the duration?
It does not say for the duration, so yeah, I'll roll that it would stay.
Alright, cool.
And there's nothing in here that would melt it, so.
I'll say to everyone, alright, give it all your best. As soon as I drop this, we all fire on.
Well, I gotta drop mine too.
Can Avaven use fairy fire to mark them?
Well, you would have to be able to. Well, actually, let me check if you have to see them to do
Let me
that.
see. Let me see.
But I'm too far away. Actually,
Well,
Oh.
as
Okay, never mind. It's useless. It only has a 60-foot range.
It's almost like they set a trap for you guys that was to their advantage and not to yours.
Yeah, and I'm getting kind of irritated
right?
by that.
getting irritated. Your baby's getting irritated. Like,
Both.
All right.
It's like literally, it doesn't even like I can literally freaking without my feet shoot things with my bow that are like twice as far as that's actually able to be used. So it's
Yeah.
basically useless.
But your bow doesn't mark targets and make them easier to hit.
But I have to.
Closer.
But if I'm using my bow at its, long range, I can't use it.
Yes.
So
Basically,
it is
it
rendered useless by my choice of weapon.
well, I mean, you could state that you're good at both long range and short. You're even better at short range than long range. Yeah.
So, what do you guys want to do? At the moment, they can't see you, so they can't really do much.
how far up did you say that they were?
They are 100 feet up, but 80 feet up is the chain cage blocking you in.
Oh yeah, and didn't that douse all the fire that sorry or not sorry.
Greylog?
Right? No, the
The
fire arrow.
explosion caused.
Yeah, the explosion arrow cost.
Oh yeah, that's true.
But
And with that noted, actually, I will say at this point, you can see several highly charred boomerganger bodies, along with the shattered remains of what appears to be a sheet metal platform, just on the chain cage, just dangling there.
Alright, is everyone ready?
As ready as I'll ever be.
I've been. You ready?
Yes.
Girls?
Yep.
Alright, I lock eyes with Greylog, we take a nod, and we
drop
the spell and immediately cast others.
Which,
Fluid motion.
because you guys are working together and it's a legitimately well done strategy, I will let you have a surprise round. Everybody roll for initiative.
Alright, sweet.
As the last battle for the Forgecast Pistol begins.
Let's do this.
There's no more after this.
Well, I mean, yeah, this is like the last line of defense, basically. Like, You chased off Igor. You scared off of Aben's mother and the Dark Elves. This seems to be and it was even mentioned a few times that these are the last of the Boomer Gangers. They were just funneling in here to set this trap for you guys.
That we just turned on them.
My dice
Basically,
have
yeah.
been very bad lately.
Yeah.
All right.
My potion dice have been bad with me, as you know, ish.
Like, I've gotten some good rolls, but I've gotten a lot of bad ones.
Yes, you know.
I mean, it could be that thing where you remember the bad ones more than the good ones.
I feel like that's at least partially true. All right. 25 to 20?
21.
Sorry?
Mando's got a 21.
Yeah, I heard. 20 to 15?
17.
15 to 10? 10 to 5?
9.
Wait, I had 11.
Oh, all right, noted. Paul, Vaben, and I'll make a roll for the girls. That's a... Their initiative turns that into a 15. All right.
And the dice you use for player characters are sometimes nice.
Okay, so they would be there. Okay. You guys get a surprise round. So, Asari, you're up.
All right, Asari. Got it. Magic missile at 3rd level. That's 6 darts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Boom, 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 boom. Up in 120 feet. Just at a cluster wherever the most full.
Okay. So that was magic missile you cast, sorry?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Roll for damage.
Attacking like
Ooh.
one enemy or multiple? It's like
Yeah, are you focusing this all on one target or spreading it?
Kind of like if there's like a group of people, I really can't see the map.
Okay.
There's no map.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, because this battle is A, not going to be long, and B, it's relatively simple. Like, it's literally just 20-foot by 20-foot cavern, 100 feet up, that's where they are, clusters of 3, 10 in total.
Doing
Cool. That would be 4. That would be, let's see, 3 4s and a 2. That's 8.
14.
14.
Okay. I'll say you're targeting them. You target the next... Going clockwise, you target the next light from the one that Avaben shot down. And begin to just pump darts of force up at them as the heavily obscuredness falls, but they continue to kind of slip and slide on the terrain. Is that the end of your turn, sorry?
Yes, sir.
Did that take out that light?
No, they were just targeting, like, the people. Okay, give me just a second. So that's 14 force, okay. Greylog, you're up. And, Paul, you are on deck.
So, I'm going to cast in my Whittle Magic, Conjure Animals.
Okay.
And I am going to summon 8 giant bats.
Okay. Greylog, you raise your focus into the air and send out a call to just nature, basically, for aid. And with a distant... a flurry of ahools dive in through the doorway. It appears that they had been nesting in the hollow, but came to answer your call.
And I'm going to have them go after as many of these guys as they can to try to just knock them off their pedestals.
Okay. You watch as they fly upward, but kind of cling to the cage and start kind of like trying to bite at it and like claw at it to try and force their way through.
How did they get in?
Through the door behind you guys.
I see.
Well, they're very flexible, so they should be able to push their way through it.
Bear in mind,
You're ready.
the gaps in this are only about as big as your arm, and you summon giant bats. But you can have them attack the chains themselves if you wish.
Yes. I will
Alright.
have them attack the chain.
Okay. I'll
Should
go
I
ahead and
have
just
them-
take care of
Should I roll as a collective?
Yeah, have them roll as a collective, and yeah, you're making a whatever their melee attack would be.
It's a bite attack.
All right, so yeah, just roll for them as a collective to simplify it.
Are you kidding me?
It was a natural 20.
All right, the bats
Would he
start.
roll a hit dice for each bat?
Oh well, it doesn't matter. It's an object, so their hit points would be too low anyway. The bats start to bite and chew, and while Ahul teeth are famously kind of flimsy, they are still strong enough to pierce even so much as dragon hide, and they do, with some effort and a few broken teeth, manage to break a hole in the center of the cage and start flitting up through it towards them.
Nicely done.
How did the witch from the Wizard of Oz put it? Fly, my pretty, fly!
All right, Greylog, is that the end of your turn?
It is.
All right, and roll initiative for the bats if you don't mind.
What is the initiative based off of again?
Dexterity.
Yes, Dex.
That would be a 7.
All right.
Really bad.
All right, since they've already gone this turn, because surprise round, I'll skip their turn normally, but then normally they will go after Avaben. So just keep that in mind. Paul, you're up. Avaben on deck.
Yeah. So looking up to these people, Paul can't do jack. I mean, literally, Paul has. My only option of attacking them is I throw a light hammer at them. And, so they're too far away.
Fucking try to be Thor.
Yeah, just throw a hammer. It's not gonna reach them because it's too far away. I have no way. Yeah, I literally have absolutely no way to attack them. But I will look up to them, and I will look to Iverben. That's right. Is his name? Yes. Good.
Yeah.
And Paul's gonna use his shield, and sort of try to act it as like a support for Ivan's weapon. I want to give him the help action.
Okay, normally you can't do that with ranged attack, but I appreciate the creativity, so I'll allow it.
Can't do it with range attack.
Yeah, you have to be. You have to be next to the target to do that. You can't be next to the attacker. But again, I appreciate the creativity, so I'm allowing it. I just was pointing out that technically you can't normally do that.
Didn't know that.
Yeah, no, because I had to check it for Ghetto in campaign 2. But again, I'll allow it just for future reference. You normally can't do that. But again, creativity, so I'll allow it. Avaben, Paul approaches you, again, kind of working his way towards you, and props up his shield to essentially allow you to use it as both cover and a bipod.
A bipod for a bow.
Yeah. You still use a bipod on both.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, go with it.
Yeah, Paul, are you good?
I mean, it's all Paul can do, so...
All right. Avaben, you're up. And you're lucky Paul did that because the
Well-
mages knocked... What's up?
Now, bonus action.
Oh, what'd you want to do?
Shield of Faith on Ivaben. Ivaben being beefed up.
All right, and Avaben, as you're ready to start taking shots, you feel Paul's hand touch you, and he casts Shield of Faith on you. And Avaben, you're actually lucky that Paul's boosting you here because these mages knock the Boomergangers prone, you would actually normally have disadvantage on hitting these guys, but the advantage cancels that out.
I
So,
still don't get that. They're like,
well, because they're ducking
Not
in
in the
cover,
world.
basically.
The fact that prone. I think he said
Yeah.
that prone means get
okay,
disadvantage.
so I get a flat roll on this.
Yeah, so go ahead and roll to hit with an arrow of your choice.
He's going to need to do the same thing he did before because he told them to drop those lights and they've continued to hold them.
All right.
Well, the first attack is. I did read it's only the first attack.
Well, that's fine. Still helpful. And if he's shooting the lights, then the lights aren't prone, so that doesn't matter anyway.
Are they still holding the lights?
No, the lights are basically set up on like tripods because they're like spotlights, basically.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
All right. So in that case, actually, if you're shooting the light, you have advantage on this.
Nice.
Yeah.
24.
That's a hit. Go ahead and roll 66 fire, but I'll make the rolls for the Boomergangers in question.
First roll. Second roll.
Since they're pro, wouldn't that give them like disadvantage on their saving throws?
What?
That is true. Does it? Austin, can you check for me while I'm rolling?
What would you say?
Would them being prone give them disadvantage on a dex save?
No, actually, well, it doesn't state that. It just states that they can only move by crawling unless they stand, which is half speed. Attack rolls.
It doesn't. I thought it said that. Hold on.
I think you might be thinking, well, no, that's automatic fail.
Yeah, and
Prone creatures has disadvantage on attack rolls, and attack roll against the creature has advantage if it is within 5 feet. Otherwise, attack roll is disadvantage. Yeah, I guess not. Apparently, you can still dodge even whenever you're knocked prone.
I mean, you can still roll around.
we can like roll around, yeah.
Like roll around or just like.
Stop, drop, and roll. Or in this case, just roll.
Yeah.
All right, but they all fail their save regardless because A, sharpshooter, and B, the fact
Are
that the
any of
explosion is
them
coming from.
hurt?
One of them is, courtesy of Asari.
All right, then I'm going to roll that d8. Okay, so the one that is damaged will take 19, and the others will take 17.
All right. Avaben, as you level your bow on the support courtesy of Paul, you fire, glass shatter, sparks, explosion. The one that Asari magic missiled is killed instantly in the blast. The other two actually survive, but they fall from the platform, landing on the cage, and kind of start like flailing in a panic as things suddenly got dark and scary. And at this point, shattered glass is starting to rain down on you guys on the ground as Avaben keeps knocking out the lights.
And then I'm going to attack the next light with my second attack.
All right. So you do not have advantage on this one, but you do not have disadvantage either because
And
it
it's
is
going
a
to
light.
again be an explosive arrow.
Noted.
Yeah. Something I've been thinking. We don't know where these dynamites are. Couldn't that set that off? I thought that from the beginning. I was just like, yeah, this is gonna happen.
Well,
Yeah, but
think about it. no,
I'd imagine the
because,
dynamite would be near the wall, and I don't know if any of these are near the wall, are they?
They're all lining it basically.
Well, also think that the dynamite is now soaking wet and frozen from our
Assuming
last-
it's in here.
Well, it's like soaking wet's one thing, but he's exploding.
Actually, I'm pretty sure, like
I don't know.
I know if gunpowder gets wet, there's pretty much no way to ignite it at that point.
That is true. Although, granted, basically there can be an argument made for either, because dynamite, the gunpowder is completely insulated. The powder's not getting wet. Your main concern is the fuse.
But the fuse would be wet, and if it's anything like gunpowder, it's not igniting.
Yeah.
Until it dries. Well, I got a 16.
That's a hit. Another.
And again, I have plus 10, so that means I rolled a 6 flat, but I get 16 because of plus 10.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
High rolls, man.
Yeah, magic items, man, and good rolls. All right, go ahead and roll that fire damage.
Good stats and magic items, you know, where I get like a plus 17 to sleight of hand.
Work with me. That's better.
Yeah, and Gale's Ionic Axes have a plus 15 to hit.
Come on, dice. That's more like it. Alright, and are any of the ones near this? No, I can only do that once per turn. So
And these
they'll
ones
take
aren't injured anyway.
So they'll take 19 damage or half that if they succeeded.
Okay, let me roll. Not one. That's a failure.
If they
Evaben.
not one, do they take double damage?
They do not. However, I am going to have an additional thing happen here, so don't be too upset. Evaben.
I'm not upset. I was just asking out of curiosity.
Evaben, you knock another arrow, and you're a Hawkeye. You have not missed a shot. You strike the next light clean. Glass shatter, sparks, explosion. However, this time you don't see any bodies. As the platform falls away, you see the mouth of a tunnel that led away from the platform, and you see what you initially think to just be an average boomer ganger. However, you see them as they stumble backwards into the tunnel away from the fire. You can see they are aflame and screaming, but their scream is kind of muffled. And as you can just make out because your dark vision has good range, you can just make out in the mouth of the tunnel. They have a gas mask on that your flames appear to have damaged, and as they tear it free, the shrapnel from your arrow pierces their chest, and not just blood, but you see gas start to rise from them. They were carrying gas grenades that you just set off.
Oh my god. Evasion's going to say, I told you to turn off those lights.
All right. At this point, with 3 of the 4 lights knocked out, this room is now in dim light. So bear that in mind. You have gone from bright light to dim light.
David could see just fine.
Oh no, that's fair. I was just pointing it out. And they just kind of desperately like roll and choke and gag. As
They're just gonna look over to the last light and is just gonna say in its direction, "Are y'all sure y'all want to keep that on?"
Is that the end of your turn, Evaben?
Yeah. Did nobody say anything from that direction?
Well, I wanted to see if that was the end of your turn because, again, you're the last person in the surprise round, so that's going to determine what happens next. I'll tell you what, make me an intimidation check. And because you just fucked their lieutenant up royally, I'll give you advantage.
So, intimidation. I don't get any pluses to that, but I have advantage. So the first roll was a 3, the second roll is a natural 20.
Nice.
You can see they initially just kind of like sneer down at you, but you can see, because there's 3 of them on the platform, you can see one of them looks to their lieutenant, just screaming and choking as the fucking fumes from his grenades consume him, and they just turn the light off, plunging the room into darkness.
So now, unless any of them who don't have dark vision will have disadvantage on their attack.
Same goes for us.
Yeah, but I do. If that does wind up being kind of, I mean, to be fair, Paul can't even attack them right now.
Yeah.
But now he can't see, period.
But I think you're
It's
the
going
only.
to depend on what spells
I think-
Greylog wants to.
I think you're the
cast.
only one who can see them. You're the other one, so you're the other one who can attack them.
Yeah, but I have hurt a lot of them.
Yeah, just saying.
And plus, if Avon does have something he can actually do to help with that.
Produce flame. Actually, no.
Yeah, I could do Dancing Lights, which is 120 feet range. And basically, I can create little lights, 4 torch-sized lights. So I could probably position them so that we can see them, but they can't see us, I think. Maybe. I don't know.
All right. And yeah, you could actually do that.
So, you know, if that is a big enough problem, then yeah, Vaven will do something about that for the party. But he wanted those lights gone because he knows he holds an advantage. Because to his memory, they've mostly been like... Do all elves get dark vision?
Yes.
Most, I know at least most.
Dark elves have better dark vision, though.
Yeah.
Okay.
Most creatures
there's-
can't see as well in the dark. Bear in mind, even Astari's natural dark vision, even their magical dark vision, can't see the top where the boomergangers are. So basically, only a dark elf can see at the distances in the dark you can.
So hopefully they have not recruited many dark elves.
Well, to be fair, the ones they did, you guys spooked off by fucking up your mom, so...
Oh, yeah. So Vaven might have just created a situation very advantageous for himself.
Yeah, for you.
But
All
he
right.
does have a way to help the party if it's causing too much problems for them.
All right. 2 injured boomergangers kind of scramble on top of the chains as the bats fly past them. Their lieutenant is gargling on his fumes. Only 1 platform remains, and the light's been extinguished. They're fumbling around among chains and broken glass and bats and just a lot of stuff. Top of the round. The surprise round has ended. The back and forth begins. Sorry, you're up. Greylog on deck. However, the boomergangers will be going before you.
Okay.
Sorry, with your dark vision, you can see
Also,
nothing.
I'm going to say, I'm
What's
not
up?
going to be able to go very much past the time that we.
Oh, no,
because
don't worry.
My headphones have already beeped at me that they're about to die.
Yeah, no, don't worry. I'm not planning to go like crazy long.
So this needs to probably end soon.
Yeah, no, don't worry. I got you. All right. But yeah, sorry. With your dark vision, you can't even see the chain roof, let alone the boomergangers. What do you want to do?
I can't see them at all.
You have 60 feet of dark vision, correct?
Yeah.
No, you cannot. Because remember, the chain roof is 80 feet up, and then the boomerganger platform is 100 feet up.
I'll be like, to Iva Ben, I'll just be like, what did you do that for? Now I can't do nothing. Let's see. I will.
I know for a fact there are spells that don't require vision.
Question is, does she have them?
Okay, this one will work. I will cast at 120 feet up, since I can kind of guesstimate that's where they are.
Yeah, I'll allow that.
I'm gonna do my cantrip Chill Touch. So a little ghostly spectral hand just floats on up, and I'm gonna cast Chill Touch.
And you're doing this on a point 120 feet up?
Yeah.
Okay, make an attack roll.
Alright, so 17.
All right. Sorry, again, while you can see your immediate surroundings and your allies, you can't see your enemies anymore. But you kind of try to guesstimate where they might be and fling your Chill Touch spell upward. But your skeletal hand grasps at nothing but air.
Can't see anything.
Is that the end of your turn? Sorry?
Yes, gonna have to be. I don't have anything else.
All right. The boomergangers that landed on the roof can't really see much of anything.
An interesting battle. Only one person could do anything. Or combat-wise.
So I'll just say they kind of start crawling around on the chains in a panic. Let's see which way they go. Okay, I'll say clockwise. So that way, and
Did you say
interesting.
that the,
Avaben might have to put his
pages-
plan into action.
Avaben, as you're making that calculation, is sorry, your chill touch grasps at nothing but air. You hear the rattling of chains above you as the boomer gangers start to pant and seem pretty spooked. And you hear a rattle of chains, this kind of gasp of fright before, as one of them crawls blindly over the hole that Greylog's bats created and is about to take an 80-foot drop.
Surely they're just dead.
I'm assuming
Because they
are.
were already severely damaged from what you said, right?
Yes, but I could roll a 1 7 times.
So they have more than 8 health.
8 or more, yeah.
Yeah. They have enough time to scream before landing on the ground next to you, Asari, dead.
Avaben just says,
They
and another
splat.
one of you is down without us even taking an action.
Like, did it, like, do they, when they hit the
You hear my
ground,
story?
does it just have blood go splattering everywhere?
Yes.
God, get dressed!
What is it with your dresses?
There's blood on this one!
Greylog, you're up. Paul on deck. Although Flower and Fall will be going before you.
Oh, yeah. I don't
Oh.
know about them. They can fly, yeah.
I'm going to.
Yeah, but they can't see anyway.
Why?
They fly blindly.
Since I can't really see, I'm going to wild shape.
Okay? What are you going to wild shape into?
And I'm going to turn into a giant spider that I saw, courtesy of our little friends out there waiting for their meal.
Giant spider.
Okay.
And I'm going to start climbing up the walls.
Okay. What your movement speed as a spider should be, I think, just 30 feet, right?
Or spiders, giant spiders have.
You need your you need your spider stat.
I'm
Uh,
looking.
I'm
I'm
you're-
looking.
Regardless, you're not going to get up to the top unless it has a 40-foot movement speed, and even then you would be blocked by the chain, so we'll come back to you.
Yeah, like, I'm assuming you're doing a giant wolf spider, right?
Yeah.
So, Paul, you're up. Avaven on deck.
Actually, they do have 40 feet of movement. Giant wolves.
What happened to Flower and Fall?
Well, I looked, and they actually can't do anything here. They're a fighter, but they don't have any.
Has 2 potential plans.
The only spells they have aren't helpful here, and they're a fighter, so their options beyond what few spells they have are kind of limited.
Yeah. So, I mean, you could either let this happen and let them be blind and you take them off one by one, or...
It sounds like he has a plan, so.
Or you...
All right.
I have 2 potential plans. One that could end this
Alright.
very quickly, and one that will give the party the ability to attack again.
Greylog, in your spider form, you start scaling the walls, and by the end of your turn, is Wild Shape a bonus action or an action?
Wild shape.
An action.
Okay,
Yeah, it's an
so you
I might
make
need to
it.
make like some text documents with all your stuff written down. That's what I do.
Yeah. All right. So there's 60 feet up to the chain roof, and then you have to get through the hole and all that jazz. All right. So
Well,
you
I
make it
have
20 feet
40,
up the
so
wall.
that would be 80.
Well, yeah. Well, but it's your action to wild shape, so you can't dash.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
You don't got that bonus action day.
All right. Paul, you're up. What are you gonna do?
Well, you know what? I do apologize.
Uh-oh.
Are you about to be full retard?
Probably in your line of sight or in your thought process, because no one can see shit. Like Paul can't see shit, so he's going to channel divinity, sacred sword, I think, or was it yeah, sacred sword. My weapon is now gonna glow 40 feet, 20 feet of bright light and 20 feet of dim light for 1 minute.
Okay.
You
Paul?
still can't see them because they're 100 feet away.
Yeah, I know.
Mm-hmm.
Out of
Paul?
character, I know this.
Paul, you hoist your sword aloft, say a prayer, and it begins to glow with a brilliant light. Vision is restored to everyone. However, the light stops shy of the chain roof, let alone the gangers on top of it. Avaben,
Would this
you're up.
make them able to see us to attack us?
Yes.
Avaven just, you fucking idiot.
You're the one that turned off the light.
How about you trust that I have a plan
How
instead
about you
of
think
just
you're
acting
not
on
the
your own?
teammate?
Okay, how
You're not the
okay,
only one with a
stupid, shut
plan
up.
here.
Shut up, stupid.
All right. Avaben, what do you want to do?
Avaven is going to cast Dancing Lights. Because his other plan just got screwed up.
All right. You cast Dancing Lights.
Which is 120 foot range.
And
And
yep.
it lights up
you could do
up
4.
to 60 feet to a noose. Let's see, both. Okay, you
basically
create up to 4 torch-sized lights within range, making them appear as torches, lanterns, or glowing orbs,
Yeah.
and that
and-
hover in the air for the duration. You can
Yeah.
also combine the 4 lights into one glowing, vaguely humanoid form of medium size.
Yeah, they-
Whichever form you choose, each light sheds 10 dim light in a 10-foot radius, which I
Right.
assume is enough to at least give us the ability to attack them, right?
Oh, easily. And even if you didn't summon it at the right spot, as your bonus action, you could move the lights up to 60 feet. I imagine you don't have anything else you would want to do with your bonus action?
No.
Okay, so yes, I'll say
Unfortunately, that's-
easily.
I can move without dashing, though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
everyone's going. Can Vaven get outside of Paul's light so he can't be seen?
Well, his light consumes this entire room, but you could move into the next room, but that means you wouldn't be able to see the enemies.
Fucking idiot!
Avaben,
Just
scoffing
completely
at your
defeated
allies.
the whole point of everything Vaven was doing.
You cast your dancing lights in the air, and the boomer gangers, along with yourselves, are now bathed in light, able to see each other and resume the fight at least as much as they can. Greylog, your bats are up. What would you like them to do?
The bats are going to whoop down on the other guys and knock them off of their platforms and stuff onto the wire mesh.
Okay. I'll say there's only one platform left, and you have 8 bats. So I'll tell you what. On behalf of the bats, do grapple checks with advantage, because I'll say you can have 2 of them do a boomer ganger each, and 2, 4, 6, 8. Actually, you would have enough to hit the coughing lieutenant as well if you want.
Yeah, that's exactly what I would like to do.
Okay, so 4 grapple contests with the bat stats at advantage, and you want them to knock them just off the platform onto the chain roof.
Well, through the hole too, if I can, but
I'll say the
think
bat's
that might
probably.
be a little much.
Well, what's the bat's movement speed?
They're flying
60 flying speed.
So let me see. 20 feet up, 10 feet across, so 30 feet. Yeah. Actually, yeah. They would have just enough movement speed to pull that off. So I'll allow
The
that.
progress of Vaven thinking his party members weren't idiots was just lost right there.
Well, what can you do? All right, so grapple contest with advantage 4 times.
So Strength, right?
Yes, you have to use strength. They can use acrobatics if they prefer, which they will.
So the first one is a dirty 20.
Okay. That one succeeds.
That one is an 18.
That one also succeeds.
Another 18.
That one fails.
$19.
And that one fails. Your bats begin to throw, one by one, the boomergangers from the remaining platform through the hole in the chain roof, forming this little, like, Wizard of Oz daisy chain as they drop the cultist through the hole. Again, that is, in their case, actually, this has gone to a 120-foot drop.
By the way, it
so-
probably needs to end after this. 3% left on headphones.
Yeah, it will. Don't worry. They're almost certainly not going to survive this, and even if they do, they'll be so weakened it won't matter. So just, yeah, don't worry. And you can leave when the session itself is ended during the outro if you need. All right. So 6.
I will
7,
say, for after
8, 9,
this in the next session, Aven's going to have a talk with his party about trust.
13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. Yep, that's enough. Greylog, every single cultist you send plunging to their deaths splatters. The slowly forming pile of cult bodies not doing them any favors. And because of Paul's light, they're actually able to see what's happening to their comrades. So the one survivor beyond the lieutenant, because the lieutenant was the one who succeeded the grapple, the remaining cultist throws his rifle down. And what's up?
Yeah, I was going to say, that Greylog was going to shout up at him, "Give up now, or you'll join them."
Yeah. Greylog, between Paul's light making them able to see what's happening, roll me intimidation with advantage.
Mm-hmm.
That is a natural 20.
The remaining boomerganger throws his rifle onto the chain roof and just cowers away from the bats swarming the room. And okay, fine. And the lieutenant, still choking and like waving away the fumes of his grenades, as the bats approach him, he just starts waving a knife at them and just, "Get away from me!" But as you make out your call, he pulls at his face, trying to desperately find a way to breathe against the fumes, and then just, fine, you can have the thing. We surrender. Just let us leave the goddamn Underdark. We're done down here.
Well, I'll let you leave, but you better watch out for, after you leave this tunnel, there's some hungry spiders out there.
And that is where we're going to end tonight's session.
Alright. Just a reminder, everybody, what happens in character stays in character.
Of course.
Well, just to talk on that.
We are still live.
I know you meant it in character, but I think you took that a little too far with a sorry. Amanda is not doing well mentally right now and is actually having a bit of a meltdown from that. So maybe future try to maybe not just call her an idiot and stupid and stuff like that. I know it's all fun and games, but sometimes it does go.
I didn't call her stupid. Avaven called our character stupid. That's like something you got to keep in
Yes,
mind in
but-
D&D. Sometimes we're gonna say things that ain't nice. I do apologize
I
that
would-
she is
Still,
that it
I get
had
it.
a bad
I
effect.
still want you to take that into consideration. That's all I'm asking
Yeah.
is for you to take that into consideration.
All right.
Because there's some of us.
I will
hard
take it.
to-
I will
If-
take it into consideration, and I do apologize if it upset her.
That's good. It's all good. Again, what happens? The character stays in character. We'll recover and move forward.
That's why we take a week off.
hmm If you want to see more of my DMing, check out twitch.tv/GrahamCrackers, GrameCrackers, for my Friday campaign, The Goldstein Investigations, at 7 o'clock Central Daylight Time, featuring a party of investigators trying to unravel the cultish conspiracy that threatens to plunge their homeland into war. Check out our website at officiald5hub.info. Down for maintenance at the moment, but soon to be resurrected from the grave like a filthy necromancer who convinces the cultists to surrender and just hand the goddamn pistol over already. Check out our link in chat to join our official D5 Discord server if you want to hang out with us directly, and support our episodes posted on Apple Podcasts, Pandora, Google Podcasts, and the iHeart Podcast Network, wherever you happen to get them from. For our audio listeners, catch this campaign live on Mondays normally at 9:30 Central Daylight Time on twitch.tv/Odd Tornado Productions and the Odd Tornado Productions YouTube channel if you want to catch up on what you missed. And check out Odd Tornado Productions Official on Tumblr to find links to our other works, including our Dark Elf Rangers Twitch channel at twitch.tv/Killer5. That is 5 with a PH for the record. If you enjoy what we do, please support us on Patreon. That link's about to be posted in chat as well. Or on Ko-fi at kofi.com/Odd Tornado Productions, and follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/TornadoOdd. The TNO are in fact capitalized. And if you want to see more of this party, check out our Tuesday game, also taking place at 9:30 Central Daylight Time, of Black Ink and Blue Blood, featuring a party of politicians and nobles trying to unravel the political conspiracy that threatens their homeland, threatens to plunge them into war, except with a lot more backstabbing and mean-spirited insults along the way. Thank you, everyone at the table, so much for playing. Thanks, everyone at home, so much for watching. And we'll see you all next week.